This is Becky, and she mows the grass.
Is she available for hire?
Becky chooses her own jobs. She will decide.
The computer coding. It's made art? This is abstract impressionism.
Oh. Is this susceptible to fire? Just asking for a friend. Never pick a fight with a clown. The moment you engage with a clown as an equal, you've already made yourself just as ridiculous as they are. And when it comes down to clown versus clown, the crowd's vote is on the clown who went to clown college. Only on Tumblr can someone say something that sounds profoundly stupid but is also profoundly deep. Allow me to introduce you to James.
Listen up, James. I hope you're good, because I'm not going to carry you.
No one's carried me since my mama. And then they proceeded to be the worst at their jobs for the next 20 years. I open and close Tumblr like it's a fridge. Yeah, just like 90% of people when they're on social media. For when we have nothing else to do, but we actually do have something else to do, we're just procrastinating on that thing we're meant to do. The majestic Mantar! Half man! And half another man! I hate this! I hate this so much and I want everyone to see it. Would it be fair to say this man technically has 4 nipples? And now for a sad story. One of 2 distant earbuds yearning for the day their Bluetooth connection meets once more. I mean, it's that or wide head ass mother flipper. Lawyer walks into the courtroom with their briefcase, but it's this. Your Honor, permission to have 5 minutes to pet the bird? I see, there's been misunderstanding. That's the lawyer's assistant. The actual lawyer is the one being carried in the briefcase. Oh, a common mistake, Your Honor. Larry the Cat, the government-appointed Chief Mouser of Downing Street, has now outlasted 4 UK Prime Ministers and 1 monarch. 1 Prime Minister's a coincidence. 2 is suspicious. 3 is evidence. Guess the Queen picked the wrong side, being so in love with her corgis. Netflix is concerned about some of its users. Why? In other news, someone watched B-Movie 357 times this year, according to Netflix. Oh, I mean, I'd be concerned too. So they actually tracked the person down and it turned out to be a woman from Scotland whose baby really loved B-Movie to the point that it was the only thing that stopped him crying. So she just played it over and over. The endurance. Like, she must have been exhausted. Yeah, we should know, we're not through a year yet. That's not once a day. There's still at least an entire month to go. The fact they tracked the person down to check on them made me feel like Netflix cares. It's a huge $1 million company. Of course they care about your money. Mobile phony. A mobili pahoni, also known as cellular phone, cell phone, hand phone, or simply a phone, is a pahoni that can make and receive telephone calls over a radio link while moving around a wide geographic area. When Naruto— what? What? Hashtag the last 2 words punched me in the face. Yeah, they kinda did. North American river otter are probably unaware of how semiconductors work. Yes, unlike Eurasian river otters who are skilled engineers. Yeah, South American river otters are novices in this field. I had a bad day, but then I watched 5 hours of television and absorbed the personalities and problems of television characters, so I am doing good now. My 4-year-old cousin is freaking out because we went to a restaurant and the forks had 3 prongs instead of 4. Every time someone said the word fork, he said, "No, it's a threek!" Can't wait for this kid to be old enough to use Tumblr. My mum's favorite pastime is to come into my room, insult all of my life choices, list everything I already know I need to do, making me 10 times more stressed about it than I was before, then leave my door open. Oh, if that ain't just the lore of their land. I'm pretty sure this psychological tactic by parents who do this is because they're stressed about their life and they want to project it onto the kids because they despise the kids being able to what? Relax and be kids? If you want your kid to be a more efficient workhorse, then just hire a cleaner instead of having a child. It's probably cheaper, to be honest. Mom. Hey. Dad's name. Oh, whoops, I mean. Brother's name.
No,
Sister's name.
I mean.
Name of the family goldfish.
Shoot, I mean.
Your name.
Can you get down here really quick? I need something.
My dad has literally called me by his own name. My mom calls me by our dog's name.
Yeah, mine does too.
My parents just switched to, "Hey, you!" Peak character design is a dark gradient on the limbs or fingers. Exhibit A, God's creation. I'd like to congratulate Jordan Peele on making an anti-horse girl movie. No, that wild animal will not be magically tamed by your presence and conviction. That is a creature. Wow, a forest full of mushrooms. Look, I don't want to tell anyone what to do, but if you go down that path, you will wake up 1,000 years later and all your great-grandchildren will be dead.
But I get a 1,000-year nap out of it? That's not the intended use, sir.
But I get a 1,000-year nap out of it?
One person's bug is another person's feature.
Liam Neeson apparently was a danger on set because the Jedi have like 4 basic moves, but he was trained for sword fighting for Rob Roy, so he would wave his plastic sword in new and interesting ways that would not be choreographed, but were traditional, actual ways to fight with a sword.
To be fair, that does sound like something Qui-Gon would do.
Yeah, between Liam actually knowing what he was doing and Ewan not being able to stop himself from making lightsaber noises, it's a wonder the Phantom Menace got made at all. I did not know that fact that Ewan kept making lightsaber noises. Oh, it's silly, but I understand the temptation. Also, I feel it needs to be pointed out, but lightsaber's weight is only on the handle. There's no weight to swing the sword around. It's most effective just sticking your arm out and flicking your wrist around aggressively as you turn it on. Not in that way, though. I'm just saying if you have like a torch thing and you flick your wrist with... Oh, God, no.
Pokemon games.
Pikachu.
Pika Pika.
Every other Pokemon. Computer-generated screams of the damned. Ontology professor, adding another grain of sand to my enclosure. Is it a pile yet?
Me, up to my neck in sand, struggling to breathe.
I'll never talk. Just tell me when it becomes a pile, and this can all be over.
For those who don't know ontology, it addresses questions like how entities are grouped into categories and which of these entities exist on the most fundamental level.
Thank you, Google.
Out of interest, I just looked up transit directions in Google Maps from my parents' house to my house,
and it told me to drive 20 minutes to a park-to-ride bus station, wait 6 hours, get on several different buses, then get off and order a lift. This isn't a joke, it literally told me to do that.
Just a leisurely 10-hour trip.
Here's the same route, but driving. I don't know, that's at least 4 extra minutes of personal driving. Oh gosh.
This is what American urban planning looks like.
Mysterious heartbeat detected coming from cosmic cloud. I mean, sure, whatever at this point. That's almost definitely a Star Trek episode somewhere. No way has that not happened in Star Trek. Someone should invent a word for when you're jumping and popping. Pumping. Not quite, but I would never correct a woman. I'm a white boy. Colors you.
You're my pet now.
This is Biden's America. It'd really suck if I got ice or water-themed superpowers. I'd have to wear blue and white and gray instead of the reds and oranges I prefer. Wear the reds and oranges and pull an Iceland/Greenland on them.
Ha-ha! I have cornered you in this aquarium, where your fire powers are useless!
Fire powers? Dude, I'm an ice hero. I freeze stuff and manipulate water. Also, I love aquariums. Thanks for the free entry.
But you're dressed like Guy Fieri!
Yeah, I have an autumnal complexion. Now let's get you moisturized. When he low-key prefers the doll. Let's just file this TikTok under plethora of reasons TikTok should be banned. You know, usually I think people are exaggerating when they say, "You couldn't waterboard this out of me." But, yeah, you couldn't waterboard this out of me.
Hey everyone, just so you know, the doll came before the girl. She got plastic surgery to look like it. Cheers!
Because I will never be able to eat lava, I pause to look pleadingly at a volcanologist. They sternly, subtly shake their head no. It is clear this is an old, ongoing argument. My prevailing theory is it has a texture of very thick honey.
Hey, about your post about eating lava that you think it would likely have the texture of very thick honey, I emailed the USGS. They said lava would probably taste like rocks. However, it would likely have the texture or consistency of tapioca or rice pudding because
each of those has the little solid blobs mixed in, which would be analogous to the just newly forming minerals.
Just thought you'd like to know.
This is one of the greatest moments of my life.
Have a pumpkin.
Oh my god, a pumpkin! I've always wanted one!
Drops it smack in the center of the orchid where unsuspecting travelers can trip and fall.
I'll love it forever!
For some reason as a kid, I thought a bech was some kind of weapon. I always envisioned it as something akin to a battering ram. Here's an artist's rendition. Well, if words were physical things, I'm sure it would have the same effect. Alright team, we're ready to break down the door. On my command, call it a bech multiple times. One time when I was really hecking tired, I tried to phrase, I like steak and stuff on the rarer side when a restaurant or friend is cooking for me permits that to happen. And it came out as, if left unattended, I may eat raw beef. And I have no idea what Pong-style antics my brain got up to lead the train of thought down that disused rail line. I like steak and stuff on the rarer side when a restaurant or friend cooking for me permits that to happen. If unattended, I may eat raw beef. Opens news article. Closes 3 pop-up ads. Backs out of the survey page I was redirected to. Closes a pop-up video ad. Rejects cookies to make the cookie window go away. Dismisses the requests to receive notifications from the website and the offers to sign up for it. Dodges ninja lasers and poisonous arrow traps. Body of the page is finally visible. I have reached my monthly limit and I can't read the article. Ghibli films be like, maybe the real hero was public transport. Yeah, Ghibli films cater to my innate desire to fly to school on a double-decker sleeper coach broomstick. 2005 and 2014. I despise that both are so long ago now. Oh, at first I thought it was the same number, but then I noticed it was at gigabyte and damn! As one of the tech review magazines said a few years ago when the first 32 gigabyte micro SD cards came out, at last it is possible for a single human being to accidentally swallow all of the data collected by the Apollo program. Now that is a review! Men on Reddit. My girlfriend doesn't like that I binge-watched Rick and Morty on our anniversary instead of spending time with her. Should I dump her? Women on Reddit. My boyfriend threatened to murder my family and lock me in a freezer. How do I show him I care about him? And they're dating each other. Rudy time!
Yay!
I wish it was Rudy time all the time. He's Rudy the dog. He comes by the school bus every day to take a single child away and feast on their youth. Elon Musk has officially bought Twitter. Oh no, the mass exodus. They're coming.
Go freaking scatter, boys! I don't think we have enough bandwidth for them all!
Be ready to fight the Horde. Is anyone else ever genuinely shocked when you find out you have an impact on someone's life? A coworker can be like, I've missed seeing you, and I'm just like, you? Miss me? My presence has an effect on your daily experience? I affects things? What? So, Elmo got a manicure. Current mood, Elmo getting a manicure. Hey, that's self-care. And you know it's effective self-care when it still isn't enough. The fastest shed has lived up to its name and beat its own record time, reaching 101 miles per hour. Hell yes, dude. Act now! These homes are going fast! Seriously, you're gonna have to like jump them off the back of our truck if you want to catch one, because they flee, man. Like, we cannot control them. Pat shell gently and receive slime. Dash a good snail. 11 out of 10 product design. You finally sneak into the dragon's cave and find his treasure chest. You open it, and there is just a macaroni drawing by the dragon's son. It's treasure to me! The dragon bellows. Holy Schmidt, someone mentioned this to me. I can only go by a few lines of in-game dialogue, but Sonic sounds very different when speaking to his friends as opposed to talking alone. I assume this is about Sonic Frontiers. He's upbeat, talking to Big, but he's low and quite serious alone. I'm fangirling, as it's confirming my theories about him being introverted. He's putting on a social facade. I'll need to wait until the game releases, but my god. Considering the gajillions of variations people name themselves based off popular characters, it must be very cathartic to realize that your variation is technically the most accurate. Dong. Click! Like father, like son. People who think sheep are killed for their wool are so hilarious to me. Does your barber slit your throat whenever you get a haircut? Are you a returning customer to Sweeney Todd? Lamau, it grows back, fools! This is completely ignoring the fact that the sheep's soul is stored in the wool. So, sure, the body remains, but the spirit, the essence of the sheep, that's gone forever. And then as the wool regrows, a new soul moves in.
Whoa, wait, what?
I think Splatoon should install a slide in the waiting lobby for the cephalopods to play on. Maybe a swing set too? They need more enrichment to make them happy. Please see Exhibit A. See? I drew it. Therefore, it is clear they are having fun.
Gee, what the frick, Cupid? What the hell are you doing? Put the mask back on! What
Oh, you disgusting creature!
Every post on Reddit is like, my wife left me, so I spent $100,000 on a new man cave. And there's always a stormtrooper of some kind in the room. I've seen this happen so often on Reddit that now I associate stormtroopers and the entire Star Wars universe with divorce. Well, it's like they say, may divorce be with you. That's what they say, right? This girl at Starbucks yelled across the place,
That's enough ice!
and the barista yelled back, this isn't your order! Happened to us last week. Was making an iced tea and lemonade and some lady started yelling, no, no, no! Me and 2 other baristas yelled back, this isn't yours! In unison. Like, girl, mind your freaking business. You aren't the only person in the damn store. The entitlement. Sometimes I'd be wilding out in Starbucks, like some guy ordered a strawberry acai and I put a small one at the handoff and he goes, I ordered a venti. So I went, are you Gabriella, sir? No? All right then. I freaking had it with them. Not gonna lie, part of my motivation to go to America would just be to go to some busy Starbucks and see this. Like, don't get me wrong, we get that in Australia, but it is very rare. Like, the pretentious hipster types that are crazy about their coffees don't go to Starbucks anyway because they feel like it's, you know, evil capitalism. But oh man, just a few hours at a Starbucks eating popcorn? Oh, what a lovely drama. Why do coffee makers growl at you? Like, what's the point of all that? Oh, they're called baristas and they're working very hard. They deserve to let off steam however they'd like. A mocha, please? Do you have that in dark chocolate? Regular chocolate's fine, it's okay. Having no system in place to stop me from stealing the Publix shopping cart is just one of God's little tests. Hashtag why God why? Hashtag why must you torment me like this? Today I learned Yankee Doodle was written by the British to mock Americans. Doodle is thought to come from the German Dodel, meaning fool or simpleton, and macaroni, a flamboyantly stylish type of dress, painting the Yankees as morons who thought placing a feather in one's cap made them a dandy. So you're telling me that stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni would be like saying wrote a G on his belt and called it Gucci. That's a pretty good analogy, actually. US moron came to town hunting for some coochie, wrote a G up on his belt and called it Gucci. You just know some pop star or hip hop singer is gonna turn this into some modern classic. Half of college professors are like, you can know nothing about me except my name. And the other half are like, and that's why my wife left me. Anyway, what's up with y'all? There were 2 professors like this in my department, and I was one of the 20 people who was taught by both of them. So there was a very small gang of us who knew that Professor Brickwall and Professor Overshare were married with 2 kids. I once told my lecturer I liked his sweater vest, and he said, thank you, it ended my relationship. Why does Genji's sword have a freaking light switch on it? It turns on the dragons? Today I learned while most countries place the currency symbol either before or after the amount, the Cape Verdean escudo places its symbol in the decimal position, i.e. What? This is the only wrong way to do it. Cape Verdean, what is going on here? You want the attention? You got it, okay? Talk to us. If you think about it, technically, an airplane can only fly when there is human blood inside of it. These are the bold, disturbing takes I came to Tumblr for.
Here for you.
Thank you. Here for you.
But how do I get popular on Tumblr if there's no algorithm? 1. Being internet popular is not a good goal to have. Having your skill recognized is, but those 2 things are not the same. 2. You actually have to interact with the other human beings on this site. There is no shortcut. 3. You do not want to be Tumblr famous. Nothing good comes of it. Ever. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, being Tumblr famous gets you one thing, and that is yelled at. Honestly though, as a community, I feel like that's the best sort of system to have. You're not really discouraging fame, you're just encouraging humility. Like, that's great, you can do this thing really well, or you're famous for doing this kind of thing, but you're no more or less human than the rest of us, and don't you forget it. House, a moon, house saying, oh no, it turns into a giant shed. What does this even— oh, frick you! I should have brought a book. The thought that haunts me everywhere I go when I didn't bring a book with me. Me. I've carved out time to write. Stares at the page for 3 hours. Sometimes I think about how Al Capone donated to charity in an attempt to improve his image. Al Capone trying to donate as a way to say, see, murdering isn't that bad. This is how I see philanthropic billionaires today. Okay, this is a very unfair to Al Capone, who donated a much higher percentage of his income than any billionaire ever and was reputedly a good tipper. You know what? You technically aren't wrong. Don't get me wrong, axolotls are adorable and deserve the love, but I don't see enough attention for their freaky cave hermit cousins, the Orm. Like if you think the woman on the right is just as beautiful as the woman on the left. Axolotl, just a friend, comes in pastel and goth. Ooh ooh, rightfully popular, head empty. The Orm, all-knowing, no face, no worries. Noodle, big head, tiny arms. Cave secrets. Without eyes, it can't stare into my soul and see what I hide deep within. Take that, axolotl. Trainers, Generation 2. Fire breather, call yourself what it is, mate. STD man, Generation 4. Let's just fix that up. Fire breather Richard. See, it's fine now.
You cowards!
For freeing me from the prison of the lamp, I shall grant you 3 wishes, declares the genie. I wish for the ability to rewind time to this moment in case my next wishes don't go as planned. The genie narrows his eyes. Very well, he says through gritted teeth. Moron didn't even specify that he would retain his memories. Enjoy making the same mistake in an infinite loop, dipschmidt. But the genie will have his memory intact. The genie is gritting his teeth because he knows he's about to be trapped in an endless loop of Groundhog Day. The genie is the one who's about to have to learn important lessons about life in order to escape his loop, and he knows it. I want this movie made, and I want Bill Murray to be the genie. Everything will be okay. Shallow and dismissive comfort that establishes impossible goal and indefinite future away. In 2 weeks, you will have different problems. So true, bestie, the human experience. Hashtag pace and love on planet. Can you tell I'm going through graduate school right now? Gays are using windmills to waft homosexual mists into your home? What? So stupid. Who told? I think it was Dave. Damn it, Dave!
We've made flashlights, yes, but we haven't made reverse flashlights. Artificial darkness would be funny as hell, though. I'd love to beam a line of night directly into someone's face. Go to the void. Okay, Satan, chill out. Although, honestly, I would kinda like one of these too. It seems like it'd be really fun. What do you say after you kiss someone? Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to try that, actually. Craigslist house share ad. I have a garden growing in my shower, so you have to use eco-friendly hair products. You'll see worms and other insects, and you will occasionally see a spider too, but they all help out the ecosystem. Okay. No, that's not okay. I'm sorry, I do not agree with that sentiment. Macabre statues to keep me company outside my new office. Congratulations on the job. I didn't know hell was even hiring. I feel like they're always hiring? Maybe that's just my assumption. I'll never understand why Disney is so focused on live-action remakes when they literally own the rights to the Muppets. I'd take a Muppet remake of a Disney animation classic over a live-action remake all day, every day. Muppet Beauty and the Beast, where the Beast is played by the only human actor, and he turns into a Muppet at the end. The Beast should be a conventionally attractive actor, whom the Muppet townspeople continually call hideous, until true love releases him from his curse, and he shows true beauty, blue felt and plastic eyes. These ideas are fantastic, and I think that's why Disney refuses to take them. How many introverts does it take to change a light bulb? Why does it have to be a group activity? I would hope changing a light bulb in your house doesn't have to be a group activity. I'm just saying. The problem with kids these days is that they don't watch Linkin Park anime AMVs. Well, I know they're watching some anime AMVs. It's just, Linkin Park ain't in the zeitgeist anymore, dude. Transformers killed them. Oh god. The quality of this was so crappy, but it really made you feel like an artist. I can feel the dryness of those markers in my bones. Fun fact, those dry markers were supposed to have water put into them to make them work. You take off the bottom thing and pour water in, and bam! Instant marker success. Only learned about this 4 years after I'd lost my set. Yep, those people saying, what? Yeah, it's true. It's true. How come nobody ever knew this, myself included? Did they just never bother to tell people? No instructions? No indication whatsoever? Joseph Decroux, 1735 through 1802, was a French painter who is known primarily for his unorthodox self-portraits. I always wondered where that one painting came from. Why have we only memed one of these 4 portraits? When did we, as a society, fail? Yeah, they all need to be memed. I mean, that one is great. Arguably the best, but come on. He begged no more, but the holy hand ignored his plea. Doesn't look like he's begging, looks like he's telling you. And this is the last time. Movies where a creature of another species with a love for good food meets a mess of a human down on his luck, living in an apartment, and the creature can control the guy's action, and he's unwilling at first, but they learn to cooperate, and together they can stop the evil rich man trying to take them down. This comparison is wild, but where's the lie?
There is no lie.
Unfortunately, reptiles never evolved a defense against dentists. I feel like most people don't have a proper defense against dentists. They catch us. All the time. If something is old as hell, then it's about 1.2 billion years old, because that's when life evolved sexual reproduction. Wow, it's old. However, if something's old as balls, it's only about 65 million years old, when placental mammals began to evolve proper testicles. I love biologists, they're so fun. They know how to party. Oh my god, I found this YouTube video called Elk Hunting Chihuahua. And the guy's like, make sure you have a good hunting dog. And he just opens his backpack to reveal his little chihuahua named Coco and tells us how amazing she is at hunting. And then he just whips her out and says, you gotta have one of these things. They can track, and they're just the best hunting dogs in the world. And that was the whole video. And honestly, I've never wanted a chihuahua more in my life. I'm crying, he's holding her like an orange. Have you seen her? She's about the size of an orange. Yeah, I'm a non-practicing woman. I was raised female, but I don't really believe anymore, you know? I'm culturally female. I don't really believe in one true gender, but I do participate in some of the rituals I was raised in, when I feel like it. And I enjoy participating in the traditions of other genders too sometimes. I'm only female on Christmas and Easter, for my parents. Everyone needs to read this. Instantly scrolls past. Why is no one talking about scrolls violently past? Found this cool rock on a hike today. Pauses to admire photo of rock. Hey, come on. Rocks are cool. First horse that got ridden. Horses are incapable of human speech. It's always a good time at Quirky Brittany. Follow her for blah blah blah. What? This perfectly preserved comment from 2014. Peasant and hipster-free indeed. Oh, I see. A peasant and hipster-free blogging experience. Why? Those things make the blogging experience so fun, because they're weird. Me trying to spell something in French. I think that's enough vowels. The French language.
You fool, you insolent coward.
It is scientifically impossible not to read this with a French accent. I'm French, and please, we don't all talk like that. Arg.
Ew, I'm French, and please, we don't talk like this. Arg.
Can't believe that pioneer women used to churn butter for hours without even listening to a podcast about Bigfoot. Historically, when performing long repetitive tasks like churning butter or weaving cloth, people would sit together and tell stories. Folk stories, fairy tales, and even stories about mysterious ape-like figures living in the forests. So, yes, pioneer women did listen to podcasts about Bigfoot while churning butter. Just maybe not in the traditional sense, but yeah, absolutely. My sisters and I are trying to fence with brooms. What kind of fencing do you do? Wait, what? Ippy? Do you have any fencing tips for us? Just hit each other. Asked my champion fencing friend for pointers. You knew it was going to happen. Come on, you had to. Today I learned that because of a mistranslation, Jimmy Carter told the Polish people in 1977 that he desired them carnally and that he had left the United States to never return. Imagine being a Polish citizen and you hear the American president say he's here to fuck and he's not leaving. Especially Jimmy Carter. I mean, what in the world? How did someone mess that up? Deep fryer, hungry, feed it 20-pound bag of ice. Fun pranks to pull on your last day at Applebee's. Fun pranks to pull to make it everyone's last day at Applebee's. I don't know why, it just amuses me. Deep fryer is just this little guy who's hungry. Oh, deep fryer, please no. Radiation is insane. There are rocks out there that will pull the seams of your organs apart if you stand too close to them. Some rocks really do have auras. Unfortunately, the aura is eat shit and die energy. Oh god. It's so much worse than you could ever imagine it being. So much worse. Snow White, Bengal, Golden, White. Oh hell yeah, this is the coolest picture ever. Looks like God ran out of printer ink. They do get kinda... Wait, what's the word? Dim? No. Faded? I don't know. Wait, I want to see something. Reblog with your age, if you're in school or not, and what time you usually wake up in the morning. I feel like these reblog games are made up by government plants or something to slowly up the ante in getting Tumblr users to divulge personal information. Like, they go from reblog with your favorite color to, I just want to see something, what's your date of birth and place of residence, and then further to, just curious, reblog with your social security number. Well, did they do it? New general philosophy. When something breaks, repair it with chunks of geode. I like that idea, though. Things would look kind of cool, although it might encourage some people to break things on purpose. An action being punishable by a fine basically means legal for rich people. Oh wow, that's... Ooh. I once dated a rich guy, and if I said, hey, it's illegal to drink on the street, he'd respond with, nah, it just costs 150 pounds. Or, you can't park here. Yeah, it just costs 35 pounds. Like literally, that's how he saw fines. It was just how much you paid to do the thing. Yeah, that's why I think, aren't there some countries out there that charge these fines based on how much money you make? Because that's the right way to do it. That is the proper way to do it. Despite what popular opinion may lead you to believe, some rocks actually do have scientifically proven auras. Unfortunately, those rocks are uranium and the aura is Cancer. Yeah, come on, we've been over this one already, okay? Tell me about yourself. One-handed weapons suit me very much. They leave a hand free to perform rude gestures. Okay, that's a little mean. I can respect that. This is the realest reason to use one-handed weapons. That's true. Shield who? Yeah, no thank you. No, that's not what we do here. The entire point of Johnny Bravo is that he doesn't get laid. He's not a himbo, and I will not tolerate people saying he is. Himself. I hate to break this to you, pal, but Johnny's creator says he does get laid off-screen, but any success he receives on the show isn't comedic, so they don't talk about it. He's Schrodinger's himbo. He was literally thrown into a volcano as a virgin sacrifice, and the volcano spat him back out. Wait a minute. I can't believe Johnny Bravo got shamed by a volcano. I'm not sure... I only saw the show a couple times growing up, man. I don't know. A baby can be born right now at 12 on a Wednesday, August 24th in New Jersey, while another baby is also born in the exact same moment, but they're born at 9 on a Tuesday, August 23rd in California. These babies that are born at the same moment are technically, because of time zones, a concept that we created ourselves, born hours apart, even though really they're born at the same moment, just not the same time. One will be considered older, even though in actuality, they are the same. Okay, look, I never used Tumblr, personally. I mean, I think I visited it twice, maybe on accident. But this is all it's for, right? This is all Tumblr was ever for, right? I'm assuming that this was it. Every show about teenagers should have an on-site consultant aged 14 to 18 who looks over the script and says, we would not say that. Actually, that would be an incredibly good, smart idea. Thank you. All operating systems should be infinitely backward compatible to the start of time. Strictly backwards compatible operating systems might be cute when they're young, but then they grow up to be a bloated mess of a million frameworks that's impossible to take care of. Nobody wants a Windows 10 on their PC. How backwards compatible is Windows 10? I've been hearing that the focus on backwards compatibility has been waning internally at Microsoft since at least Vista, but I don't know any details. You can't name a folder con on Windows 10. To much dismay of scam artists everywhere, it's reserved for like a camera or something. What? Oh. The funniest thing about the Teen Titans cartoon is how they all call each other by their code names, and it's because despite living together, they don't know each other's real names. Titan's Tower was a Discord server. Oh my god. Well, I need to sit down now. Yeah, that's right. I'm doing this standing up. A girl in one of my classes sent out an email saying, "You'll be having a furry classmate this semester." And my heart stopped. but she was talking about her service dog. Oh, thank God. I love how all of the Batman villains are like, nah, he's not at the manor. It's defenseless! And then Alfred just racks an AK-47 and is like, no, pull up. Batman's villains, the butler will be easy prey. He's just an old man. He doesn't have any of the Batman gadgets or training or fighting skills. Alfred, oh my, you're right. There's something else of Master Bruce's I don't have as well. Cocks a shotgun, a code against killing. Yeah, at a certain point, when you're fighting Batman and you get used to how Batman fights, maybe a gun is really gonna take you by surprise. So my grandmother passed away recently, and I got her will. My birth father was always a piece of crap, always stealing from his mother and ditching his kids whenever he could. I got to this part of the will, and, I leave the sum of $1. Grammy had the last laugh. Well, this is actually done for legal reasons. If Chad was excluded from the will entirely, he could make the case that he was supposed to be included, but was forgotten, and get a big chunk of the estate. By explicitly giving him $1, it shows he wasn't forgotten, so he does not have a case. I like it. I like that a lot. That's a good idea. I'm gonna put that in my back pocket for later. I have no clue what a sieve is. This, dude. Oh, the whole bowl. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna call it now? Oh no. Oh no. I need to go to bed. The Nightly Spiral. This is my favorite frickin' comic ever. I have never seen something capture the experience so well. I'm glad I've never experienced this. Even if every type of meat could be replicated without animals suffering, be affordable and all that, I'd still have no mercy for tiny fish. Like, sorry little guy, but you're literally designed as a tiny little snack. Like, if a huge eldritch being told me that I'm literally designed to be a little snack, I would not argue with that. Yeah, you would. Come on. Don't lie, you totally would. My favorite thing about Samus's power suit is the giant snack containers on her shoulders. The Metroid's attached to her to siphon the snacks, which kills her. I'd frickin' die too if some jackass aliens decided to deprive me of my Skittles, Snickers, Twix, Kit Kats, and more, which I stored in my refrigerated shoulder compartments. I mean, yeah, that'd be kinda messed up. Scientists reveal new, most dangerous personality type? New personality just dropped. My god. The personality type where they suck your brain out like spaghetti and then organize it. Mother of Christ. I know everyone's like, the only way to kill Dracula is a stake through the heart, but in modern times, I think we should at least try hitting him with a very fast car. Same energy as that Buffy episode where the big bad can't be hurt by any weapon forged, and she's like, it's been 500 years, are you sure? And annihilates it with a rocket launcher. I think I need to finally get around to watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Things to say that will always start a fight. You guys want to start a fight? Whose idea was it to end this show? I don't know. Maybe the viewers that weren't watching it that much anymore? I mean, sheesh. What do you want from me, man? He doesn't even know. Know what? The economic state of America. Look, you know what they say, ignorance is bliss, and he is living in it. It's only an unpaid internship if you don't steal enough office supplies. Stealing is wrong. You mean unpaid internships? I agree. When you ask someone, hey, are you okay? And they give you a thumbs up because whatever bullshit they're currently in the middle of renders them unable to speak, that generally means, absolutely not, but I can't be stopped. Thank you for your concern. You're welcome. There's no problem at all. So my little sister heard the ice cream truck and tried to grab her money and run after it, but she couldn't catch up, so now she's just kind of lying there on the street. I feel like we've all been there. Metaphor, not literally speaking, okay? Not all of us could have been in that exact same situation. You understand. My neighbors upstairs have officially gotten to the point where they're loud enough to wake me up. I'm happy homegirl is getting her back blown out, but I wish both of them and the whole family would become severely allergic to movement. They're changing me. They're making me worse. I have a suggestion. What do you suggest? What? Tell me. Honey is vegan. I don't really care if a bee's like, where's all the honey I've been making? They probably get over it really fast. Their brains are very small. Bees choose to live in the box where they know damn well that a large fraction of the honey will periodically be removed instead of simply leaving the place like they're perfectly able to. Because the human box comes with an invulnerable titan to guard them against all threats, the bees consider the payment offered for this colossal mercenary to be a pretty good deal. Bees know about supply and demand. Protection money. protection. Honey. Yes, absolutely. The bees make the payment for our services. Is it true that girls have to be careful when they take baths because their vaginas can swallow water or something and then get infected and then they can die? Or is that just a myth? Did you take sex ed in Texas? Let me just say that I live in Texas, and in my sexual education, a girl asked what the clitoris was, and the teacher told her that it didn't exist. Wait, they do? It's real? Why am I hearing about it now? Which one of these shapes is a booba, and which one is kiki? The one on the left is more booba, and the one on the right is more kiki. Thanks. New Turing test just dropped. I'm confused, but that's okay. I think it's pretty normal for me to be confused by now. The weirdest thing I've learned while working for pest control is that snails love rat poison and will actively eat it, but hate sesame seeds. I should add that rat poison has no effect on snails, and they just get super fat because they gorge themselves on boxes of rat poison. Absolute units. Of course. Then they go and get eaten by birds and raccoons or whatever and deliver like 10 times the lethal dose of rat poison to whatever's eating them and kill it horribly. Snail used toxic. It's super effective. Booby traps? Sure. I would easily fall into a trap if I saw boobs. Do you ever get friend lust? Like, you just see someone and you're like, man, I have such a friend crush on you. I want to be your friend so bad. I want to be more than a friend. I want to be a best friend. You hear me? You're so cool. I admire you a lot, and you're so funny. Please be my BFFL. I'll treat you right. Let me be your Drake friend. No other friend will treat you like I would. Stop this feline menace. Leave Tubbs alone. He okay. The Holy Trinity. Do twins have the same size dick? Now we're asking the real questions. Well, as a twin, I can say my dick is definitely bigger than my sister's. Okay, come on. Are you sure about that? I almost forgot to mention, this woman came into the penguin enclosure with a kestrel and said, "Oh my god, is that an American kestrel?" And she said, yes. She was outside doing raptor education on the kids, but she doesn't like to get rained on. She was watching the penguins with what I will anthropomorphically project as skepticism. I hate rained on. Here is birds and water. No. Also, to anybody who has made it to the end of the video, I just want to say, hey, how are you? Thank you. Sorry if the audio's a little bit off. I'm currently in Finland, and yes, as it turns out, it is a real place. It's crazy here. It's cold, it's gray, I'm very tired, and have a good day. I hope I don't have to fight my evil shadow self today. Hey, no freaking way. Mother who realized she was gay at the same time as her husband, coming out as transgender, says they're happier than ever as a lesbian couple. Honey, I have bad news. Me too. I'm gay. I have good news. Bread is basically just flour, yeast, and liquid, right? Gatorade bread. You ever have one of those, what am I doing with my life moments? I was a fool. I thought this would be a bad idea. This is the best goddamn bread I've ever made. It's fluffy, it's chewy, it's got a perfectly crisp crust. The only flavor it has is vaguely sweet. I've already eaten the whole loaf. I'm curious. I would like to try some Gatorade bread. Who else here is with me? And if you're not raising your hand right now, you're lying. Quick quiz question. Can you tell me what the Q in LGBTQ stands for if it doesn't stand for questioning? I can't get a straight answer. I have no idea. I always thought it was questioning. Could mean queer. That's sort of been taken back. That's not a, I swear to God, if someone comes at me and act it like, I'm not slurring it, okay? Don't even miss me with that crap, okay? I asked a question. I don't need someone coming to my Twitter saying, you should apologize for what you said about the Q in this stupid acronym. Is it an acronym? It doesn't matter. I don't know what it means either. I always assumed questioning. What are your actual bookshelf red flags? Please do not say American Psycho. Funko Pop. Poor guy couldn't even think of a book. No, they're right though. They're right. There's something about Funko Pops. I feel like I read something on this channel regarding Funko Pops. How it's not about like the character or anything. There's a reason they all look pretty much the same, and it's that they're focusing on collectability of a brand and not really the cool idea of a character or something like that. I can't quite remember. Either way, they feel really soulless. Character has frost powers. Me, your backstory is family-related trauma, isn't it? Yeah. What is with that though? Throwback to when I took painkillers and woke up with Photoshop open on my computer to this image I had made. Big things are coming. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, you know? Expertly made image. I literally can't fathom how you would have put this together, though. None of it makes any sense to me, but then again, maybe that's the painkillers. This is why I don't trust pharmaceuticals of any kind, man. I can't. I don't like the idea of waking up having lost control of my freaking brain and body. No thank you. I don't want to be arrested, okay? Oh no, I woke up naked on I-25 somewhere. How did I get here? I don't know. Thanks, Ambien. I haven't seen a damn thing about the new Grinch movie, but if they didn't make him a love interest, that's just another Grinch, but softer with eyelashes and one blue streak and her hair named the Bench, then I don't want... Oh, I see what you're saying. Why does the Bench look like Scarlett Johansson? Oh, shut up. I just realized we don't even know what dinosaurs sound like. They could have been speaking fluent German for all we know. It's too early for this late-night Tumblr crap. Guten Morgen, Herr Pterodactyl. They could. A little funny haha random. You're getting close to it, but I agree they very well could have been doing that. Were they? No. But I wouldn't mind coming across a T-Rex that spoke any human language fluently, because that would be really interesting just to watch, not even to hear. In 1561, an innkeeper called Hugh Draper was imprisoned in the Tower of London for sorcery. Whilst incarcerated, he made these carvings on the walls, which displayed astrological symbols and numbers. This is not helping you beat the sorcery charges. You ever wonder if at one point people were able to do some crazy magic crap, but, you know, the fanatics just went, oh hell nah, and like killed them all off? You ever think about something like that? I mean, sure, for something like, say, if dragons existed and went extinct, we would have found evidence for dragons by now, right? But how would we have found evidence for a wizard? Am I right? Were there any magical This is basically the plot of Onward, almost, but, you know, a little bit farther in their future. Anyway, actually, no, there wasn't genocide in Onward. Well, maybe there was. I'm sorry. Okay, put the timer away. I'm going off track. Hold on, let's move on. How do I look, darling? Bad. I looked up the source for this, and it's from an anime where a dude has to keep a constant boner for a month straight, or he loses his house. Is this the episode where he lost his house? Thank you. I just appreciate that. How do I look? Bad. This object has been temporarily removed as we revise its facial expression, which was deemed zoologically improbable and or terrifying to small children. Nothing could make me more curious about your taxidermy than this. I need this as a t-shirt. Zoologically improbable and or terrifying to small children sums me right up. Finally, I know what I want inscribed on my tombstone when I die. I remember the news article. This was the lion that was removed. Sweet Jesus is not putting it right. No, really. There's no way, right? Why would this have been up in a display anywhere? Anywhere! It's not even that it's improbable. It's that it's intentionally done poorly to freak people out or make them laugh. What is this? Ew! Which would you rather find living in your attic? 1,000 roaches or a person? This is truly, on God, the first would you rather that I've ever had to devote significant thought to. Neither of these answers feel good. Yeah, I would say a person. I don't care what kind of person. It could be a person that's been up there so long that they're more feral than human at this point. I don't care. It needs to be a person. If I find 1,000 roaches anywhere, I will move out of the state. Can they, release new vegetables? I work at Whole Foods, and I'm here to tell you that they do. Some lady the other day puts this on my conveyor belt, and I'm like, ma'am, what is this? And she has the audacity to say, I don't know. Well, I'm sorry. If you don't know, why is she expected to know? Everyone should question their gender. It's perfectly okay for the answer to that question to be, yep, everything checks out, all good here. That's how you unlock Cis Plus. Wait, Cis Plus, is that a subscription? What shows are on it? How can you not be angry? I am angry, the werewolf said, but unlike you, I don't have the luxury of showing it without being called a monster, without someone taking it as a sign of proof that I need to be put down like a rabid dog, that I'm just what the stories tell you I am. But everyone gets angry. That's human, up until the point when you're not human. Such a wonderful metaphor for anyone othered by society. Yeah, there are a lot of people that just feel like they can't express their emotions because they've been manipulated to feel like expressing their emotions is a bad thing. You're allowed to be sad. You're allowed to be mad. You're allowed to be super happy. You're allowed to be mega depressed. You are allowed to be these things. Of course, some are worse than others. Being depressed is not a great thing. I suffer from it. But don't ever let anybody make it worse by telling you you have to hide it and stifle it. That's not gonna help. It's not gonna help. Again, I would like to remind everybody that I am a moron on the internet. I'm not a doctor. So, for any real serious stuff, maybe don't heed my advice. Maybe go to someone who knows what they're talking about. Dead End Paranormal Park has been canceled by Netflix after 2 seasons. You know, it might just be the depression talking, but I just don't care anymore. So many shows have been canceled in the last 6 months, I don't expect basically anything good to come out ever again. I've never even heard of this show. To be fair, Netflix doesn't always show you what you might be interested in either. Because why would they do that? Why would they actually promote a show that they paid probably millions of dollars for? Silly Netflix. Sometimes people try to tell me that scientists are paragons of rationality, and I have to break it to them that I have yet to work in a lab that didn't have at least one weird secret shrine in it. New guy, why is all of the equipment in this room covered in toys? Me? Don't touch those. They need the toys to function. If they don't all have toys, they get jealous. When something breaks, just take the wizard and wave it around for a while. They seem to like that. Look, it's all about keeping the lab happy and comfy and not angry. Don't anger the equipment. Have you ever seen a beaker pissed off? I don't think you have. And you don't want to either, all right? I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a weird horror movie, kind of like Skinamarink, coming to theaters about a pissed off beaker, okay? We already got one about a tire. Oh boy, is that Pokemon? Let's see. It's really funny how, like, Pikachu has been the obvious moneymaker for Pokemon throughout its history, and they've tried to replicate this without success ever since, trying each gen to hit on that perfect mascot formula. Yeah, they're really trying there. And finally, after a series of unsuccessful and generally unmemorable clumsy Pikachu ripoffs, Nintendo comes out with a Pokemon whose entire concept is bold-facedly clumsy Pikachu ripoff, and everyone freaking loves it. Of course they do! Look at how cute. 2023 CE poster after sharing a self-referential meme. We're gonna confuse future archaeologists so bad. 4971 CE archaeologist on the dig site. Why do the bones have plastic in them? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. It's in their bones. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this. I wonder if the microplastics have made it to our bones somehow yet. I know we got a credit card in our blood. Thank you, boomers. Oh, hell yeah. Captain America. So, do any Avengers have any pressing business? Blade, are any of you mofos gonna help me fight the vampires, please? There are so many. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't, right? He seems like the type of guy to offer and then go, ooh, never mind, vampires, I don't do that. Punjab Chief Minister openly drinks glass of polluted water to prove the water is clean. Admitted to hospital. No, you know what? Respect. He put his mouth where his money is and experienced consequences immediately. Every American politician should be taking freaking notes and opt out of government health insurance. Out of pocket, you entitled, naughty word. The Punjab Chief Minister is more committed than you ever were. That is true. He did. He put his mouth right where his money was. PSA for male writers struggling with writing women without ending up with something that would land them on r/men writing women. You can circumnavigate a lot of problems by writing male characters and changing out their pronouns in post. A lot of the properties that build a character are a lot more interchangeable than you might expect. Oh. So, no more boobs flopped boobily in the wind kind of thing. Apparently no one was paying attention in middle school language arts when we learned what a freaking protagonist was. The protagonist is not the good guy. The protagonist is just the guy the story is about. I mean, yeah. Look, I don't pay attention to anything, okay? I found a pun that works in both English and Spanish. Where do cats go when they die? Purgatory. ¿De dónde van los gatos cuando mueren? Purgatorio. Dude, it also works in Italian. I think that's why the Italian kind of started coming out at the end of that sentence there. I don't know how to pronounce Italian, so, geez. It could also work in French? No, I can't read that either. I'm so sorry. The ultimate pun. It also works in Portuguese. Well, duh. Portuguese, Italian, and Spanish are so similar in so many ways. We have achieved peak pun. The pun heard round the world. Yeah, I'll frickin' say. You best watch it. Not surprised that you're a man, considering how you care about your more than the women it hurts. Okay, you do understand that I'm gay, right? I can actually promise you that 0 women are being exploited because of my crippling, life-destroying addiction. So you're putting women out of a job? Oh, gotcha. You walked right into that one, sweetheart. So there. Which one of you was gonna tell me that tea tastes different if you put it in hot water? You were putting it in cold water? Radish. Answer the question, Radish. Yeah, I thought for like 5 years that people just put it in hot water to speed up the teaification process. I didn't realize there was an actual reason. An actual reason? So the reason that you were putting it in there was I don't understand. I'm confused. Sure, you can have cold tea. You can, if you want. That's fine. Gonna start random discourse now. Living in a 2-story house is elitist. Moving to a foreign country is cultural appropriation. And stop saying something is easy. You're shaming the task. OP, I know this is a joke, but just remember that if you go knocking on enough doors asking to see the devil, eventually he may answer. Thank you very much for that. I do appreciate that. Some people don't quite understand this. You make too many jokes, one's gonna land you somewhere that maybe you didn't expect to land. You know, there's a reason so many people with snarky, stupid personalities like myself on the internet find themselves interfacing with people that you don't know on Twitter, treating you like you're a buddy and saying mean things to you in jest. They're trying to joke, they're trying to be funny, but it just, it's inappropriate. Me at age 15, downloading music using YouTube to MP3, I didn't even realize there was piracy happening. Yeah, it sucks that shit's pretty much impossible to do now. Okay, it's not, but it's harder for sure. I'm at a restaurant right now, and there's this like 16-year-old kid sitting at the table next to me, completely alone with like 6 racks of ribs. He's eating like 1 rib every 10 seconds, and the poor server who was assigned to him has to keep getting him new ribs. I've been here for an hour, just watching this kid inhale ribs like he's gonna die the next day. He probably will, given the amount of hot sauce he put on them. I cannot stress this enough. This is a stick-thin teenage child sitting alone at a restaurant, absolutely going to town on these ribs. This child is eating like he's trying to personally rid the world of ribs. I've been timing him. He orders a full rack of ribs every 2 minutes. This is freaking insane. I don't know what to do. Normally, I would say mind your own business, but this is one of those particular instances where I wouldn't be able to. I'd have to go up to him and say, hey man, it's not really my business, but are you doing all right? Do you need some help? I don't understand what's happening. Maybe he's practicing for some contest? I don't know, because I don't know, professional like speed eaters are very small people. I'll never understand it. It's all very strange. I'm an average American man. I work 15 hours in a hamburger mine to buy 1 rock and roll disc. Stop this. Today I learned about the unifying cube rule theory that claims to settle not only the is a hot dog a sandwich question, but many other similar food debates. The cube rule of food for identifying dishes based on starch locations. Okay, we've got toast, sandwich, taco, sushi, soup, salad, bread bowl, calzone. This puts the hot dog not in the sandwich category, but in the taco area. I mean, they're not wrong. That looks delicious. I want it. It also suggests pizza is toast and an apple pie is a calzone. I guess. Taco sausage. This suggests that cannelloni and burritos are sushi. Open-faced sandwiches are toast. You heard it here, folks. Yeah. Behold, sushi. Why? He's not a calzone. Stop this. Also, is the calzone supposed to be a completely... Yeah, they're completely... I haven't had a calzone in years. Look, I need to have another one now. Now it's on the mind, okay? Holy crap, that thing is huge. A 1-ton eagle model from the Hobbit trilogy was hung on the ceiling in a New Zealand airport, and it fell down on a noodle canteen after an earthquake hit. That sentence was a roller coaster ride from start to finish. Oh, I forgot about that bird. It's so weird to me that people label Fred the athlete of Mystery Incorporated. He came up with highly extravagant plans, was always the one reading the newspaper, wanted to be a mystery writer, and did acting at school. Fred is the art kid. However, Shaggy was a track star and top gymnast, which is why he and Scooby were always used as bait and runners for Fred's plans, and potentially why he consumed so much food. Shaggy is the athlete. Shaggy can run as fast as a Great Dane while carrying a Great Dane. Man is a freaking Olympics tier athlete. Yeah, that gives him superpowers, man. It's otherworldly to see. To this day, I cannot believe Aang called up and blew off like 9 avatars just because they didn't offer any vegan options to ending the war. Roku, my best friend assaulted me as a senior citizen. Kyoshi, sometimes some murder is okay. Is that Kuruk? I don't know. Just punch people that disagree with you. Aang, okay, I'm starting to think that none of you took this Avatar thing seriously. DreamWorks has the best couple relationships ever. The thing I've always admired about their couples is how mature and well-developed their relationship is. How one respects everything about their partner, gives each other the time to build trust, and also helps each other become the best versions of themselves. They rarely, or even never, say I love you to each other because their actions are so powerful that it evokes that. Also, the characters individually are some of the most well-developed characters in animation. Yeah, I said it. So yeah, these are just my thoughts. I just adore DreamWorks characters and relationships. It's because DreamWorks wanted to be the anti-Disney. Disney makes some great stories, for sure, but DreamWorks took it a whole different direction and made it better and connect more to the real world. I know I say that while I'm looking at Puss and Kitty and Fiona and Shrek, but nonetheless, They are more grounded in reality than the weird fairy tales of old that Disney has adapted. Keying/graffitiing someone's car is old news now. If someone cheats, we go at their wardrobe with a seam ripper. You know what? Screw you, unstitches all your shirts and jeans. They should invent sleep for women. I don't know how much it would cost to do that, though. Kids these days are so cringy with their Fortnite dances. Are none of y'all gonna acknowledge the we did? Are we not going to acknowledge Gangnam Style? What does the fox say? If we go older, we got Hamster Dance, Crazy Frog, the Duck Song, the Llama Song, Charlie the Unicorn. Let he who is without sin throw the first stone. Yeah, but back in my day, it was actually goddamn funny. Hey, don't be on Charlie the Unicorn, okay? Watch yourself. Watch yourself. Okay. By the way, Film Cow's latest stuff is some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. Keep watching, folks! Cloaked in the fur of their slaughtered brethren, you have a fundamental misunderstanding of how yarn is made. You know, I really think most people do, and I don't like that. In today's modern society, Riddler would be the easiest of Batman's villains to rehabilitate. All you have to do, give him a job designing and running an escape room facility. It's perfect for him. A non-violent outlet for feeding his need to flex how intelligent he is. He still gets to create his elaborate puzzles and riddles, and people will willingly pay him to lock them up in a room where he can mess with them for an hour or so. Someone get Bruce Wayne on the phone. I have an idea for a thing he should invest in. If you win and successfully escape the room, you get a sticker that says, I'm as smart as Batman. Fanfic written by 14-year-olds is so wild, because they all think smirk is just a fancy word for smile, so every serious romantic scene comes out looking like this. No, I think it works. That's totally fine. Hate people going into a store wearing clothes I got from there, like I'm their little bitch or something. You people are very strange, and I love it. LOL, here's a fun one. If you had been born in the medieval era and without access to modern medicine, how long would you have lived? If I managed to survive being born, unlikely, I would have died at age 22 from appendicitis. How about you? The number of you absolutely convinced you would have been convicted of witchcraft and burned at the stake seems statistically unlikely. You know, I haven't come across anything yet in my life that would have given me a hard death date in the medieval times. I would have lost pretty much all my teeth, though. I know that much. I would have had almost none left. You wake up. You're still a lizard sunning on a red rock. It was all a dream. The concept of analytics, algorithms, and view counts is already losing its meaning as you open and lick your own eyeballs to moisten them. Time to eat a bug. OP paid about $215 for blue check marks on this website. Show some freaking respect. That's the guy who invented Nyan Oh my god, is that true? Oh, it is! A genius. Also, I love that Tumblr lets you just keep giving them money for more check marks. There were no cases of autism before 1930. Yeah, Mount Everest wasn't discovered until 1856, but I'm sure the frickin' mountain still existed. My psych teacher has a poster in her classroom that says, every time you call your boyfriend daddy, Sigmund Freud's ghost grows a little bit stronger. And if that isn't threatening, then I don't know what is. Yo, his ghost can F off. Desert plants. Oh no, thank you, I'm not thirsty. Desert animals. Okay. I need a heat lamp set to exactly 83.15 Fahrenheit, 8 months of the year. I need to be lightly spritzed during August. If I'm medium spritzed, I will die. If I'm not spritzed at all, I will die. When I enter my pupal state, you will need to put me in the freezer, which should be set to exactly jungle plants. Sorry I died. I said I was semi-shade, not full shade, but if you give me too much sun, I'll also die. By the way, watering me is not enough. You need to soak my entire body for 3 to 5 minutes twice a day. Also, jungle animals. Coconut substrate. Adding unnecessary comments to posts more like Dunkin' Don'ts. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll just sit in that corner over there, sulks and grows mushrooms on my back. What the hell? I just drove my uncle and myself to the hardware store, and he said to me, Molly, I want you to know that being Catholic doesn't change anything. If you someday get married, your wife will be welcome in this family. Don't ever think otherwise. That's nice, but I'm not gay? I'm laughing so hard. Spoiler alert 2012 me, you're super gay. Observation. I've never broken a bone. Hypothesis, I am boneless. Data, I appear to have broken at least 2 bones and my foot slipping on ice. Conclusion, I have at least 2 bones. Strong evidence suggests the possibility of a 3rd one. Uneducated people, like you, are the reason why there's so many science deniers in the world. You have 206 bones in your body. Maybe you'd know that if you'd had more than the 4th grade education. I'm an astrophysicist. Well, that explains why they don't know anything about bones. Me, when I wake up, oh boy, I can't wait to think about that great dream I just had. The memories of my dream. Gotta go. Do they have to make him wear his last name like that? Gay and bigot. Pride and Prejudice. Holy crap. I don't think Tom Kenny ever auditions for voice acting roles. I think if you make a cartoon, he just materializes in the sound booth on his own. Yeah, him and Tara Strong, for sure. Amateurs. Oh my god, who are they? Oh, only 3 voice actors in the entirety of Germany. Then again, we don't just need voice actors for animation. Everything live action from the US, the UK, and so on gets dubbed here, after all. Sometimes you just watch a documentary here and the narrator is Thanos. It's kind of fun though, right? Also, another powerhouse who does a lot of voice acting and I think holds a record for like movies and TV credits is James Hong. Don't you forget about the GOAT, okay? Toph was shown easily bending a meteorite that Sokka gave her, meaning that Toph can bend any dirt regardless of if it's Earth or not. Meaning Toph could have definitely bent the moon, and the only reason she didn't was to do it out of respect for Sokka and his ex-GF. Toph doesn't know where the hell the moon is. There's a tortoise at work and he's 30 years old. And I love that he's 30 years old because I can look at this animal that's 3 years older than me and go, does the man want his appy slices? And he hustles over because the man do want his appy slices. My old person trait is that I think a website should work in a web browser and not try to open an app. My old person trait is I think video games should work without needing access to the internet. Mine is that I think when I purchase a product that it should be complete and functional and also that I should actually own it. Yeah, well mine is that I think I should be able to talk to an actual person in order to resolve issues with my bills without waiting on hold for 30 plus minutes. Well, I mean, that one's just kinda down to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of you trying to get the problem solved at the same time. I've worked in one of those call centers. It's an awful, awful, terrible, abusive, thankless job, and people like you with expectations of instantly being able to get anything done whenever they want is one of the reasons it's so terrible. No one wants to do it, and everybody has problems that they needed us to fix. Guys, when you take medicine, do you take the pill and then drink, or do you drink the drink, then take the pill? I don't trust people who put pills in their mouth before the water. Poll. When you take medicine, do you put the pills in your mouth and then sip water, or get a sip of water in your mouth and then put the pills in? Please, it's for science. You really can't trust anybody these days. OP has no idea the gate they've opened. I don't know, I always did pills first, because, you know, they don't instantaneously dissolve in my mouth and make me vomit or something weird like that. Hell, depending on the pill, I'll dry swallow that. I don't even care. Usain Bolt posing with his winning tortoise at a tortoise race. Are you telling me the fastest man in the world spends his free time racing slow-ass animals? And his is the fastest of those slow-ass animals. 3 different uncles at a barbecue. Cool uncle who smells like and lives in the woods, but the woods are just outside town and he works out at a Planet Fitness. Uncle, who you always looked up to until you found out he's in a cult and is also homophobic, but says he's okay with the lifestyle. Mom's brother. Victorian dress costumes are so funny. Victoria was queen for 6 decades. In 200 years, Party City is going to sell second Elizabethan-era costumes with 2000s low-rise jeans and 80s hair and a 50s blouse.
And call it
Historical costume 20th century Y2K Elizabethan hippie Cold War vintage girl sexy. And I am ready. Me too. Where the hell is that? I'm 11, I have a physics degree, and want to make humans immortal. The world is literally burning to a crisp from car exhaust and internet funny money mining, and this young Sheldon wants to make sure we have to suffer through it. Well, maybe he doesn't actually mean immortal. Maybe he just wants to stop the physical aging process so that when we're 100, we still have the physique of being like 25, 30, something like that, so that we can still live a fulfilling life, and then, you know, we die in our sleep at some point. Maybe he wants to create a ticking time bomb in every human, except, you know, we get to live into our golden years with the ability to walk and do stuff still. Yes? May I help you? I'm looking for a book. I think it was blue. Not a week goes by without me remembering this Yonan Vasquez strip, and I so often want to reference it, and I keep forgetting it is not, in fact, a well-known meme. Yes, I'm a little confused. He's thinking of a gun, okay? For himself? For the customer? Is he gonna shoot the book? What is he thinking here? What is he really thinking? Tell us what you want. Have you guys seen this site where you can craft your own emojis out of the other emoji bits? Within reason. I call this one, Be Not Afraid. This emoji was present during the writing of Revelation in the Bible. It's telling me to be not afraid, but I am afraid because one of its eyes is completely out of whack. Sometimes I blow on my ice cream before I take a bite. I have no idea why. Brain, food is very temperature. Also brain, no worry. Learned from soup. Know what do? This is the tone in which my brain talks about everything. I think all of our brains talk like that. Some people just might be a little afraid to admit it. And I don't know why. I am finally off after 11 hours. I work at an infectious disease lab. What about yourself? Oh gosh, like you make the diseases or are against them? Coming home after a long and difficult shift at the disease factory. I'm joining the war on diseases. On the side of the diseases. I would be too. Do you ever get a wave of nostalgia for a hyperfixation that's never coming back with the same sort of melancholy with which you mourn a lost childhood friend? Like, you consumed my every waking moment for 6 entire months, and now I haven't thought about you in years. I miss that passion. Well, this one just straight up ruined my day. What do you know? Me fills a water gun with printer ink. Also me. I don't even need a Wii U to have fun. If you bought a 16mm cartridge of ink at $18 and a 2500ml Nerf Super Soaker Barrage at $15.99, it would cost about $2,828.49 to fill it with ink once. I like how you said it would cost about while providing the exact number. Why do we do this? And AF, finally, something that's more expensive to shoot than a minigun. Masks and helmets that hide someone's face in such a way that they become the face themselves, my beloved. These are all creatures to me. Well, Bottom Middle's only a creature because he was a bad guy or a monster in the second live-action Scooby-Doo movie. Okay? What was his name? I legitimately can't remember. Fun movie, though. I love it. Some people on this website wholeheartedly believe a cat will only try to bite its owner if it's under traumatizing levels of stress. I assure you, cats will bite for a variety of reasons up to and including fun and me time. My cat does this all the time. My favorite trope is janitor in headphones continues cleaning through extreme action. I've been the janitor in headphones before, and trust me, it's an act. We just don't want to be involved in the nonsense. That is completely fair. I was kind of hoping that after the video game Control, that the trope would evolve into, oh, the janitor wearing headphones is some otherworldly, multi-dimensional, godlike being. Do my job really got me wasting 66 donuts, but if I bite one, I'm gonna get fired. Yeah, I love that. Isn't that so cool? Yeah! Throw it all out. We waste food on purpose here, okay? I think copyright infringement should be legalized everywhere for any reason at all, forever. I think copyright infringement should be legalized everywhere for any reason at all, forever. This is my own original idea. That's a good idea. Okay, calm down. Party rockers in the house tonight. I'm terrified of what the original image might be. That comment made me realize how lucky some people can be, going your whole life ignorant of the Zootopia abortion comic. What? Look, we've all seen some messed up stuff on the internet before, but you know you've been to that Sodium website and seen some of the most weird, messed up stuff you've ever imagined could exist. Oh god, I see the... I gotta zoom in, but I see the images from far away. Ugh. The way artists draw themselves is so funny. Like, we all make ourselves look like exhausted gremlins, and then there's... Elmer Butch Hartman, who managed to make his self-insert OC look like a complete and total douchebag. I literally have never seen a man to be so self-absorbed. To be? That's not in there at all. Why did I read it like that? And furthermore, why the hell are you capitalizing damn near every word? OP? It gets worse. There's an actual character in The Fairly Odd Parents that's a caricature of Butch Hartman, and voiced by him, named Dr. Rip Studwell. And his defining character trait is being hot. He changed his icon because of this post specifically. Good. Can't a man have confidence? Tumblr user what? Hello? I feel like this is an online equivalent to playing with a Ouija board and the demon freaking answering. Oh, I did not read that name at all. I blocked it out of my mind because he's not a nice person at all. I really didn't like reading more about him. Me and my brother explains how ADHD affects us. Our parents, that's not ADHD, that's normal. Me and my brother.
Side eye.
The call is coming from inside the house. What? It shouldn't be. Google execs used to say that the company's motto was "Don't be evil." Now a dozen employees have resigned in protest of its artificial intelligence drone program for the Pentagon. 3 days later, Google removes "Don't be evil" clause from its code of conduct. I always forget that Google's informal motto being "Don't be evil" was about as comforting as a coworker having a sign at his cubicle reminding him not to snap and murder everyone in the building. As it turns out, watching the coworker remove the sign is even more ominous. Google was never a good guy. Trying to draw good feet, but not so good that people think I'm into it. You ever see a fully safe for work artist draw a weirdly detailed armpit and you just know they flew too close to the sun? They've got something secret somewhere that you're going to try and find, huh? Go back to the SALT website. Or the MSG website, I don't know. Was walking alone through the alley behind my apartment and saw a weird guy, so I checked that I had my pepper spray, and guess the guy saw me do it because he said, "Don't worry, I'm more scared of you than you are of me." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "I'm terrified of women." Happy International Women's Day to this dude, wherever he is now. The guy was just being honest, alright? Don't let your guard down, though. We always talk about giving a Victorian child a Cheeto Puff or Gatorade, but what about music? If I traveled back in time and blasted God Race by Meta Room, they would absolutely perish. I swear, the users on this site are like a bunch of garment factory owners. The way they're always obsessing about what the limits of a Victorian child can endure before they perish. Well, I don't think that's really the thought process. I think it's just, I don't know why I'm trying to explain it. I don't care. You don't care. You think this formula is some advanced math crap? Something used to find something of something advanced math? What? No, this formula is used by Pokemon games to calculate the shaky of a Pokeball when you catch a Pokemon. Is that true? Is that really true? Is that true? The Lincoln assassination is really just wild if you think about it for a moment. Yeah, a guy was shot in the back of the head at a... Yeah, what do you mean? The younger brother of one of the most famous actors in the country, himself a famous actor and heartthrob in his own right, killed the president in a theater and yelled, "Sic semper tyrannis," a line often associated with Brutus, a character that his brother had famously played. Like, imagine if Liam Hemsworth killed the Prime Minister of Australia at a red carpet movie premiere or something and yelled, "I went for the head!" And Chris had to leave the Avengers press tour to tell everyone, "I swear I had nothing to do with this." Imagine how weird that would be. A whole history major, and yet this post is the first time I fully appreciated the weirdness of the Lincoln assassination. I wasn't convinced in the beginning, because of course an assassination is a pretty wild thing. But, of course, I missed think about it for a moment, and didn't know any of those details. Well, aside from him being an actor. Came out of my dad's printer at work today. Hi. If you're reading this message, it's highly likely that your printer is exposed to the public internet via port forwarding. This means that anyone on the internet with some technical knowledge can send print jobs to your printer, or worse, try to exploit it and use it as a part of a global botnet. If you didn't intend for this, please look into disabling UPnP, Universal Plug and Play, on your router, or remove the port forwarding rule for the port 9100. A friendly catgirl hacker. Thank you very much. I bet the Mike and Zach boys, during printer problems, wish they had double-checked this. The movie details. He, him, she, her, they, them. The pronoun cinematic universe. It. Oh, what in the hell are these? That is terrifying. These 10-foot prosthetic legs are awesome. Height is a choice. Hey, it's mutant birth. That is... Woo! Wow, that's something. 10-foot prosthetic legs inspired by the mantis. By Mutant Birth, an artist dedicated body hacking. Too many content creators and not enough form destroyers. You know what? Hell yeah. I'm gonna start answering my parents how Donald Trump answers questions. How does he answer questions? Well, there's lots of ways he answers a question, and a lot of questions that need to be answered, and one of my close friends asks me, a good friend, he says, and I tell you, he's a good close friend. He says, we're gonna answer some good questions, and you see this guy, and this guy's got some real questions to answer. Wave hand. I'm doing it as though you can see me. We've got a lot of real, important, good questions to answer. Greenland is farther east, west, north, and south than Iceland. For some reason, I absolutely hate this information. I don't. I think it's quite nice. We learn more about the world. Yesterday at work, these two 12-year-old boys came through my line, and I'm instantly like, oh boy, because solo children at a grocery store are always forces of chaos, good or bad. But thankfully, these ones were totally pleasant. And when I asked if they wanted a receipt, one of them pulled out a random freaking receipt from his bag and asked, "Do you?" And y'all, I lost my What a power move. When will I ever be this funny? Honestly, there's some sort of snark magic that you have at a specific age. Tweens to, I don't know, late teens, I guess. For the most part, I say late teens, but I mean like 12 to 16. That's what I really mean. There's seriously some magic in there when it comes to trying to be funny. I don't know, maybe it's a certain fearlessness. You'll try everything so you're funnier overall, and, you know, thanks to cringe culture, everything sucks now. But I don't know, there's just something about it. It's great. They're magical. Is it really possible for a vampire and a Republican presidential candidate to be in a relationship? Synopsis. Morbius gets magically transported to the tail end of Jeb Bush. No. When I say I'm never leaving this site, what? Finish it! I had a long and vivid dream where I accidentally invited the ghost of Alexander Hamilton into my house. Then he just sort of followed me around and scoffed at my essay writing, and eventually I tried to hire an exorcist, but the exorcist turned out to be Thomas Jefferson, and they got into a fistfight in my kitchen. Everything I remembered about U.S. history got replaced with this. Doesn't sound too bad to me. U.S. history was pretty dry and boring and stupid. This is way more fun. This motherfucker is hideous. I'll kill you. Let that be a lesson to the rest of you. I don't know why you gotta call a homeboy ugly. Look at him, he looks fine. Amusement park in Berlin left to nature's devices. It was left to nature's devices because the owner got caught importing a roller coaster with 180 kilos of Peruvian cocaine inside of it. Okay, that detail doesn't really make anything more interesting. It was, in the end, still left to nature's devices. Sure, you added some context that may have made the story a little funnier, but you're acting like this was some kind of, actually, you're forgetting about this very important detail that makes this mic drop moment even cooler for me. Dude, chill the fuck out. It's a funny picture of an abandoned swan boat. The people who get pissed about the idea of having wider seats on airplanes for fat people are overlooking the fact that they'll also get more room on the plane. I doubt that's so freaking hardcore. What they're gonna do is create wider seats specifically for certain passengers, sit them in a specific area or two of the plane. They can't have them in one area because it'll create a weight distribution problem for sure, and then your ass and my ass are gonna be stuck in the same size seats. They're not just going to make every seat on the plane bigger. No, that would be a benefit to all customers and lose them money. So don't think that for a goddamn minute they're gonna benefit everybody. Hell, knowing airlines, they'll find a way to absolutely not benefit the people they're pretending to benefit in the first place anyway. You know how businesses are. Europeans are so funny. Literally. Like, I can't believe Americans don't have fresh bread. What the hell are you talking about? I can't believe Americans think their store-bought sliced bread is real bread. There are bakeries in the United States. I'm not gonna argue with a motherfucker about bread. That is true. There are bakeries and places you can go here to get the good stuff, the real stuff. But you wanna know why we don't? Over here, you wanna know why we don't do that? Because we can't afford it all the time. It is more expensive! Come on now! Nothing will be more boring to me than, I can't believe Americans are the scum of the earth. Sorry, that's just how we're forced to be right now. My massive apologies on behalf of Americans being way beneath you. I'm so sorry about that. I wanna be a villain, so I can just saunter everywhere. The heroes are always sprinting, always running. You ever see Darth Vader run? Hell no, and I ain't about to either. This has gained over 18,000 notes in the last 24 hours, and I feel the need to tell y'all that I've never seen a Star Wars movie all the way through. When I wrote this, I was 100% relying on the trope that he didn't run in the films or some nerd was gonna drag my ass. This edition had enhanced this post 800%. Do you ever sabotage your own free time? Like, what is that about? I want to play this game or read or do something specific, but instead, I'll just stare out the window or scroll mindlessly. All the time. There's so many things I want to do, but I'm far too depressed to actually do them. I've just got constant guilt. The only high school heterosexual romance I want to see is Jock Girl and Nerd Boy. Sorry, the other ones have been too overdone. Give me a super confident basketball girl player and a guy who's a little terrified of her. Nerd Boy, scrambling for books at his locker. Basketball girl, leans on the locker next to his like jocks do in high school movies. Let me guess, no other guy wants to go out with her because she's too tall and intimidating. Actually, no, all the basketball dudes think she's super cool, but she wants the calculus loser. Get on the chariot, we're gonna go beat the shit out of a Greek god. Like the Greek god. Nothing fills me with rage quite like seeing no overnight visitors on an apartment advertisement. Like, who the hell do these random landlords think they are to deny someone the ability to host a friend or sibling for the night, to even feel comfortable dictating the terms of a paying tenant's sex life? Like, off all the way to hell. Hex your crappy landlord and watch their life crumble into pieces. There's a very effective hex called a tenants union, and you can learn the sinister rituals through covens dedicated to the craft. Unionize. Stop letting your heart and your pussy choose your men. I'm confused. What's left? Oh, never mind my brain. You're right. You really forgot your whole brain. She read this post with her pussy. I mean, let's be fair. Who doesn't do that? I do that all the time. Snail in my ear telling me what to do. Me listening to the snail? If I ever do anything that upsets anyone ever, it's the snail. I cannot be held accountable for my actions. Not when we're being controlled by a snail, we can't. My bird is sitting in the top corner of her cage calling my dog's name and asking if he wants a treat and if he wants to go outside. And he's too stupid to realize it's her, so every time she says something, he looks at me like this. She laughs every time too, and now he's jumping on me and barking and getting mad. The bird is a mad genius. The two saddest answers, a white boy will respond to how it's going. It's going, hanging in there. I straight up usually just say, fine. If actually, here's what I do. If I'm actually doing fine, I'll say fine. And if I'm not, I'll go super. There won't even be a change in my voice. I'll just say super, and that's how you know it's a bad day. These are signs the white boy is in distress and should be removed from the source of distress immediately. White boys only say this when severely stressed. My friend told me last night he gets girls to come back to his place by telling them, "Oh, I can't wait to go home and have some stew, and I'm so hungry, good thing I have stew at home." And it's worked every time. Bro, the worst part is last night I went to his place and it's 11 p.m. and I'm sitting there eating frickin' stew like, goddamn it worked on me too. Well, hey, look, at least the guy's not lying. He's got stew. I wish octopus could learn how to read. They could be pen pals with middle schoolers. Dearest Samantha, I do not know what a guinea pig is, but it sounds delicious. I hope you have fun devouring it, or playing with it, if that is your preference. Today I hacked a local computer to get more bubbles in my tank and took a photograph of an unsuspecting victim. Do let me know how your human activities are going, and if this Karen continues to antagonize your brother, I would suggest smacking her very hard. And do send more canned snacks. Best wishes, Octopus number 5, Monterey Bay Research Aquarium. The funniest thing in the entire Pirates of the Caribbean series is definitely that one scene at World's End, where they have a parlay, but Davy Jones is part of it, and rather than have him stand in the shallows or something, they get a big bucket of water and have him stand in it on the shore. Who thought of that idea? Who thought, put Davy Jones in a bucket of water, and had the guts to suggest it aloud? And then who went, hey, that sounds like a great idea. At some point, someone told Davy Jones their idea was for him to stand in a bucket of water, and he agreed to it. I think it's the fact that he's not allowed to touch land? Wasn't that the rule? You know, like his heart was put in a jar of dirt. He can't touch land. I don't think it can be wet land, so I don't think he'd be allowed to stand in the shallows, but in this case, the loophole is he is standing on the wood of the bucket, covered in water, which is fine. I mean, a ship's made of wood, bucket's made of wood. Makes sense here, right? I like analyzing this because it's so dumb. Also, the image I like more than everything explained here is that if you look at the trail of buckets behind him, they're so far apart. This dude had to like hop and jump from bucket to bucket. Imagine the most menacing of villains having to do that. Notice, due to the lack of cicadas so far this summer, I will climb the trees and scream in their absence. Do you think you can replace them? You really think you would sound half as good? How dare you stand where he once stood? Oh, sorry, no, I have to read it like a dumbass.
How dare you stand where he once stood?
The wind outside is insane and it's making my window whistle. I don't like it. It keeps scaring me and interrupting me. A smart girl's guide to boys. Surviving crushes, staying true to yourself, and other stuff. Conversation starters. I wish they'd teach us more about Vikings. Hey, I wish they'd teach us more about Vikings. Dude, same. Thanks, American Girl. Yeah, that's pretty sick, though. I wonder what the It Was Published Today version of this book would say. How old is this book now? Mario and Bowser's rivalry after 30 years exists mostly just to uphold the status quo, instantly dissipates whenever the situation calls for it. Peach's kidnappings probably follow a very specific schedule, and after every single one, they all go out for coffee together. Luigi is unironically Junior's favorite babysitter. Sonic and Eggman's rivalry after 30 years. If you so much as breathe in my direction, I am literally going to kill you with my bare hands. Link and Ganondorf's rivalry after 30 years. We are inexorably tied together by fate and ideology. We are each other's opposite in the worst and most poetic way possible. We are enemies. We are brothers. We will destroy each other and the world around us over and over again. Samus and Ridley's rivalry after 30 years. By God, it's Samus Aran with a steel chair! Telepathic aliens enjoy that humans will play music for hours at a time when it's too mentally quiet on deck. They just announce the catchiest song titles they know, and the humans will start thinking about it automatically. The humans hate this so much. Zorf, Human Steve, can you please play that song I like, the one with all the females? What? A little bit of Monica in my life? Mother One of my favorite tidbits about Oblivion is that when Bethesda brought Patrick Stewart in to play Uriel Septim, they gave him this big 90-page booklet detailing the character's history and background and motivations, and they were really worried that they'd gone too overboard and given him too much. Meanwhile, Stewart was delighted. He said that it was the best character prep he'd ever been given, and he wished more people would do that. It's worth noting that this character dies in the tutorial. He does, I feel so bad. I always forget that's him, too. Contrast this with what Rian Johnson was trying to do when directing Angela Lansbury in Glass Onion. Her final role, I believe, rest in peace. You were awesome. He was trying to explain to her what the game Among Us was and how to play it, and I believe, as the story goes, she said, "Just give me the lines and we'll go from there." What we should be wearing. A horrific mashup of Victorian Gothic and 80s clothes. Gonna wear these together. Okay, I don't own a frilly pirate-like shirt, but I actually do own a shirt that's kind of... I want to combine them so bad. I think I'm gonna do that because I also own a jacket, several jackets that look like that. USA Cultural Regions Map. This is super cool. For non-Americans, this is actually accurate and reflects how Americans understand ourselves and regional identities. These aren't official labels, but they're not totally made up either. Now, let me zoom in here and take a look. Texas. I like how only that part of Texas is understood to be Texas, right? Deep South totally makes sense. We got the Ozarks. For some reason, we call that the Midwest. The Southern Great Plains. Rocky Mountains. Yep, that's pretty true. Hey, you know what? That's how we know this is totally correct. I'm from Spokane, Washington, way up there on the very eastern side of Washington State, almost touching Idaho. And yeah, it is called the Columbia Plateau. That's actually awesome to see. I thought this was going to be a joke, but no. All right. My biology professor has such a chaotic energy about him. Last week, I went to his office hours, and somehow we ended up on the topic of gay marriage. He said that when he lived in Texas, they changed the law to define marriage as between a man and a woman in a house of religious worship with the intention to have children. So, he filed his taxes as single, and when they called him up, like, "You filed married last year," he was like, "Yeah, you changed the law. I was married by a judge in a courthouse, and I have no intention of having kids." And they told him, "You know who that law was for." And I guess he hung up on them and did not, in fact, pay taxes as a married man last year. Chaotic good. No, this is lawful good. He is following the law. Chaotic good doesn't just mean cheeky. This is like how Sweden stopped classifying homosexuality as an illness because people started a campaign of calling in gay to work. Malicious compliance is one of the best tools in the arsenal of civil rights activism. There's more evidence of Eminem being gay/bi than there is of Taylor Swift. I mean, yeah, have you seen the beginning of the interview? I'm so sick of people saying water doesn't taste. Water fucking tastes. Well, what does it taste like then? A blank sheet of paper, apparently, according to this post. You know, the place where I last worked wanted to use our reading room as a backdrop for a filmed interview. We had a very pretty reading room. On the day the film crew was there, the audio guy came over to my desk, which was at the edge of the space, and said, "Look, you can keep working because you're not doing anything too loud, but in a minute, I'm going to go over there and call for silence for 10 to 20 seconds. And during that time, I need you to not make any noise." And I went, "Sure." But he clearly felt a little uncomfortable telling me not to move at my own desk, so he explained the purpose of those 20 seconds is to record the silence in the room. It's so they have a patch they can edit silence over some extraneous background noise later. The phone ringing, me getting an email, the toilet flushing in the bathroom next door, the elevator coming in, blah, 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 blah. But the point was that they can't just slap any old silence over a recording done in a certain room. They have to use silence from that room, or it will be jarring on a subliminal, not even a subliminal level. You can hear it to the people listening. Because silence has a sound, and it's a little different everywhere you hear it. That's what water tastes like. And I'm so glad that we're finally... Screw the water thing. They're right, but it's so nice actually seeing this right here. Needing to record the environment you're in. Get a 20 to even 60-second silent plate of the environment that the scene takes place in. So smart, so good. It's going to save your ass and make things sound so much better. No piece of teen media has ever accurately depicted the quiet psychological warfare of bullying. Bullies on TV are always dumb brutes and not the evil geniuses of emotional manipulation that they are in real life. Being given a wedgie and having your lunch money stolen is nothing in comparison to a classmate quietly creating a taboo against speaking to you that they intend to enforce against all other kids, or against all the other kids. It's nothing like continuous cutting comments from people you thought were being nice to you. The way that the work of one kid can make you feel like every person on Earth silently hates you and that you're dirty, disgusting, worthless, creepy, and useless. that you can have friends, but many of them will not speak to you at school for fear of the social consequences on their end. How that damage lasts in any social setting for the rest of your life. You can't even tell a trusted adult, because you cannot begin to articulate the thousands of small transgressions you've experienced, building to the horror of knowing your peers would like you dead. They don't have to say it or hurt you physically. They have other ways of letting you know they'd prefer if you were worn fuel? I don't know what that last statement means. It feels real scary, but you are right. Whenever I thought back to my high school and middle school and elementary school days, I always said I was never really bullied. Sure, there were a couple of physical altercations that, ended great, but literally my entire existence until I left high school, well, until I met my real, actual friends, was people doing similar things to me, asking me questions that would make me uncomfortable and make me give answers that they could immediately make fun of or use as a weapon against me. No matter what the question, it could be as simple as something about the assignment we were doing. Nothing weird or ridiculous, but pretending that every answer to every question I ever gave is super weird and you're super strange. Why would you say that? All the way to, I cut my long hair once as a kid, and then after that point, I was always treated as disgusting and ugly. I mean, I was before too, but man, if you have long hair for a long time and you cut it, you will literally never hear the end of that shit. In 20 years, you won't remember the time your kids didn't finish their dinner, but they'll remember how you freaked out and yelled about it. Last year, I was talking with my mom about parenting, and she said, "Well, at least I never made you feel like I didn't love you." I then proceeded to tell her about a time when I was a kid, and she was yelling, screaming, and throwing things, and I said, "I love you," in that small, timid kid voice, and she said, "Well, I don't love you right now." Our relationship was never the same after that, and she didn't even remember that it happened. The axe forgets, the tree remembers. You remember that? It was a formative experience in my life. For you, it was Tuesday. And I love when you bring this up. They accuse you of gaslighting them and making shit up. No, Mom, I remember the time that you told me to stay the out of your life. I remember that very vividly. You don't, but I do. And you don't get to deny it happening. The way people just assume that their experiences are universal. No thoughts, opinions, or feelings about it. I'm just observing it. I'm not disabled in any way, but I always go out of my way to avoid doing this completely normal, everyday thing able-bodied people can do because that causes me physical pain. Dude. I'm not gay or anything, but on average, you really do see more good-looking men than you see good-looking women. Bruh. It must really suck to have ADHD or something. I mean, I forget what I was doing every 30 seconds and get yelled at it least twice a day. It would suck if that was like a clinical thing. Brother. I'm perfectly happy being a cis man, but wouldn't everyone rather be a woman if they had the chance? Ma'am? Oh man, that last one resonates. Oh god, what in the world is... Oh, I zoomed in too much. Customer states no matter how much she tries, she can't inflate the tires to 100%. No, dude. That person is going to die, if that's even remotely true. I mean, yeah, if you explode a tire, it will kill you. Okay, now I need to zoom in a lot again. Hold on. As many of you know, I recently purchased an Urukai scimitar. Well, let me tell you, it was quite the pragmatic purchase. It has endless uses in my morning routine, such as making the bed, making toast, getting things off high shelves, making coffee, reaching the remote when it's too far away, and assisting me when I ran out of toilet paper. I don't know how I survived life without it. Where the hell can I get an Urukai scimitar? Kojima would never name a trans woman character Sorona Ryan, or however you're supposed to say the name. He'd name her something like Hard Mommy, and trans women all over would go, changing my name to that in response. Image description tweet from wherever. Kojima wouldn't... Yeah, okay, you're just... Sure, fine. I thought that was something I needed to read. Hard Mommy is the leader of Cougar Cell. Her specialty is defense, but I guess you've realized that by now. By analyzing the battlefield, she's able to quickly deduce perfect formations for infantry deployment and fortifications. She has led her men against seemingly impossible onslaughts, including chemical and biological attacks. Wow, not tax. That presents a wholly different picture. So that's why they call her Hard Mommy. No, Hard Mommy isn't for that. It's because she's a... Oh, for God's sake. Who would you trust more? Total stranger in a Star Trek shirt or a total stranger in a Star Wars shirt? Yeah, I'm definitely on the Star Trek side. I've seen what Star Wars fans do, and I don't like it, so I'd rather go back to Star Trek. I want Venom. I want Venom, Dart, Spine, Fang, and Adversary. Yeah, well, just make sure you build in plenty of safeguards so you don't accidentally Venom, Dart, Spine, Fang your mom instead. None of this made any goddamn sense to me. Did it make any sense to you? Probably, I'm dumb. That Robert Pattinson could do Batman, but Christian Bale couldn't do Twilight post is so funny. Because do y'all even know who Christian Bale is? Have you watched any of his movies? He could literally play Bella Swan if he wanted to. Christian Bale is not a normal person. he would unprompted live in Transylvania for a year and find someone to bite his neck the second he was handed the Twilight script. Christian Bale shocks makeup artist and Twilight team by arriving on set with Swarovski crystals embedded in his skin. The dude is committed, but calm down. Imagine someone calling an exterminator to control an ant problem in their house, and the exterminator spends all day picking up individual ants, taking them outside, and shooting them with a gun. One ant at a time, one bullet, one ant. And at the end of the day, he's like, yeah, that's all I can do for now, and there's still an entire colony of ants in the house he hasn't even put a dent in. I don't want to think about that at all. Guide for teens. Tell the cops nothing. Tell the paramedics everything. Your eyebrows are fine. Putting a different country's flag on my lawn to make it harder for GeoGuessr players to guess where they are. Lawn, United States. Nice try. Well, okay, but guessing the country seems a little easier than guessing the exact location I'm in right now. My favorite video game quest trope is, help us, they're stealing our ancient artifact. Thank you for helping us. As a reward, you may have our ancient artifact. The ancient artifact was less important than having agency in its distribution. Nothing is more important than keeping it out of the hands of the British Museum. That is how most games operate, isn't it? Keeping it out of the hands of the British Museum. Posting on a Blackboard discussion board and replying to 2 of your fellow students has to be one of the 9 circles of hell. Great point, Dylan. I especially agree with it being one of the 9 circles of hell. Well said. This is one of those things I'm just not as familiar with as well, no, there's no should be in this at all. Why should I be familiar with this? I don't use Blackboard, I never have. I think my mom did, though. She'd probably know. Having a blast at the park. Bird that goes wee, 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 wee. Oh, I see. You're just trying to learn more about birds. You should watch that hit movie with Jack Black, The Big Year. If you got like a 100-kilo bag of glitter and opened it up and left it in the path of a tornado, I think that would be interesting. I don't care about ecological damage, by the way. I do. 100-kilo bag of seaweed-based glitter. I don't. 100-kilo bag of enriched uranium-based glitter. The Super Mario Bros. Movie review. I dressed up as Funky Kong to see this with my coworkers, and my manager was like, who the hell are you? Because I looked like a 90s dealer. So I told her, just wait and see. And then he never showed up in the movie. Turns out if you dress like Funky Kong IRL, you just look at you just end up looking extremely divorced. Okay. Okay, I can't. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh man, the poor guy. Just wait and see. Oh no! I'm elbow laughing, no stop! Okay, alright, I'm good. At the farmer's market, the baby was pointing at the tomatoes and going bah, 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 and signing on. So my sister was like, how much for just 1 tomato? And the person at the stall was like, oh, we can have 1, don't worry about it. The baby stood there by the stall devouring the tomato like an apple in big messy bites. And people kept stopping and going, aw, and then, oh man, that does look good, and buying a bunch of tomatoes. All natural, organic advertising. Well, that right there, that's how it's done. You should always use babies to advertise your products, right? Think about it. They're perfect for giving endorsements. Still fancy that cup of soup now? Yes, because I'm fully aware that liquids start to solidify when you reduce their temperature, you freaking buffoon. And a lot of soups like this want you to add water, don't they? I mean, okay, not a lot. Maybe a few of them do, right? My insane character concept. 2 people who've been reincarnated for thousands of years and have always found each other, but instead of being in love, they just hate each other. So the legend of Zoraldo? The Legend of Zegent with Dark Lord Ganondorfinda? Ganondalf? Dear Diary, today I learned my first curse word. Oh, I see. Dear Diary, I just learned the F word. Oh no, it is a legend. Dear Diary, instead of the monkey's paw, you find the clown's nose, which instead of granting your wish in the worst way possible, will grant it in the funniest way. Item, the cursed clown nose. Obviously, to use it, you have to put it on and give it a Wow, this really works, honks nose. I want $1 million. I pull a $1 bill out of my pocket. I pull another out of my pocket. This proceeds for the next 3 hours. Only 3 hours? Did you pull all million out? Every one of the $1 million out of your pocket in 3 hours? Why does that not feel correct? I don't know. I'm weird. Doesn't matter. Mario and Luigi, Partners in Time, is a game in which the player controls Mario and 3 babies. Why are we always doing this to my boy Luigi? My boy Luigi. Why are we doing this? He's saved Mario at least twice. Okay? Because Mario's stupid and gets himself stuck in a painting like every decade or so. Gotham PD. Have you seen anything unusual lately? Random citizen. Unusual for normal cities or unusual for Gotham? Did you see a clown or not? Not just any clown. A clown with a lot of guns. That's it. That's his defining trait. There's a new girl in my kindergarten class who's autistic, and she's like barely, not really verbal, but like, I don't know, she opened up to me a little. I don't tell people I'm on the spectrum at work because they already treat me horribly because I'm the only person of color there, but like, she's a little Latina girl who I know exactly how she feels. And I was like, hey, Nina, if you don't want to talk, it's okay. Just thumbs up or thumbs down if you understand the math problem, okay? So we sort of made like a thumbs up, thumbs down thing between us. And today was the most surreal thing. Because, like, I know they tell you to make eye contact, but I'm going to tell you a trick. Look at their neck, chin, hair, whatever's behind them. I don't like eye contact very much either. Thumbs up. And she said with the smallest voice, thank you for not saying I'm dumb. I want to be the person I needed when I was her age. Yeah, I really could have used people that understood what I was going through and weren't treating me poorly, like I was stupid my entire life. That would have been really cool. Totally Spies wasn't a fetish show. What? No fetish like effect placed on them? Because that's basically the show. What are you talking about? I never saw a single fetish in that kid show. You're clearly misinterpreting things with your perverted perspective. I am very uncomfortable now. Yeah, isn't there like some master list out there of everything that the writers were sort of imprinting on this show? Sure, unfounded accusations, I guess. But not really. There are no rules. I'm gonna get you. This is the best freaking movie on the planet. I too enjoyed this movie. Maybe not to the extent that the rest of the world seemingly did, but I certainly had a good time with it. I'll never understand why Disney is so focused on live-action remakes when they literally own the rights to the Muppets. I would take a Muppet remake of a Disney animation classic over a live-action remake all day, every day. Muppet Beauty and the Beast, where the Beast is played by the only human actor, and he turns into a Muppet at the end. The Beast should be a conventionally attractive actor, whom the Muppet townspeople continually call hideous until true love releases him from his curse, and he shows his true beauty, blue felt and plastic eyes. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna be super honest. I really love the idea of using the Muppets more. I do. Disney is not the right company to do it, unfortunately. After they got rid of our last Kermit voice and swapped it out for a guy that he does a good job voice acting, but he absolutely doesn't sound anything like Kermit, especially when you look into the reason why they got rid of the last Kermit actor. I don't want to support any of Disney's Muppet endeavors going forward. Why would I want to do that? Hell, you know how excited I was for the Muppet Haunted Mansion special last Halloween? I was so excited. Hell, actually, was it last Halloween? May have been farther back than that. Either way, I was really psyched. It wasn't good at all. It was very bad. None of the Muppets were funny. Only the celebrity guests were funny. Ooh, the humans. Are you kidding me? If your straight guy friend says that he supports gays, tell him that you thought he was gay when you first met him. See how fast he gets upset and insecure and starts asking why you thought that. My gay guy friend tried this on our straight friend, and the response he got was, thought? More like hoped, and then winked. That's a real ally right there. He really just scalped your poor gay friend on the spot, didn't he? Oh man, you got put in your place, dude. That is actually a beautiful comeback. I love it. Life is just a bunch of 3D printers getting the stuff to use in printing, self-building 3D printers that also 3D print 3D printer printing 3D printers that build themselves. I don't know what this means, but I think I woke up at an ungodly hour o'clock to post this. I love people that say stuff like that. I don't know what this means. Yeah, you did? Yeah, you did!
You had to have some semblance of what you were saying as you were saying it, unless you were, like, absolutely hopped up on something. And no, I don't think being tired is enough for something like this, man. Sorry, kid, can't help you. Why not? 2 words. I am retired. It's funny because I am retired in Greek is whatever the hell this is, which is 2 words. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Disney. Was this one of the Renaissance movies? I would have to imagine it is because people absolutely adored this movie. I still haven't seen it though. Maybe someday, I just don't really care to right now. That is clever though. That some people respond to any well-foreshadowed reveal with, ugh, that plot twist was so predictable, proves bad faith criticism has rotted their brains to the point they think it's bad writing if they can correctly identify information the writers were intentionally giving them. Yeah, people like to call it lazy, shallow, boring, contrived. There's all sorts of buzzwords when it comes to critiquing film and games, but you hear stuff like that a little bit more often in film for sure. It's super awesome. That's why I'm kind of done with movie reviewers in general that are overly negative. I get that there needs to be a group out there that is critical. We need to know that there is a baseline, a bar, if you will, that has to be somewhere, man. But I'm just so tired of so many out there thinking that having fun at a movie is somehow a bad thing. I had fun. Well, were you absolutely completely blown away by the story? Did it change your life? No. Well, then you didn't have fun. That's a bad movie. Dude, listen. The Super Mario Bros. Movie was nothing to write home about in terms of the plot. At all. None of the games were. None of the games were, dude. Not even Galaxy. Nope, no sir. Very incredibly simple. Stupidly simple, I'd say. But you know what? I had so much goddamn fun with that movie, and I'm tired of pretending every movie needs to be an Oscar contender in order to be good. And to think I wanted to kill you 2 times. In this quarantine, you've become my friend. I love you, Manuel. The rat said this. Probably. That boy is huge, though. He's almost as big as my cat. I'll get you, and it'll look like a bloody accident. Shut up, I mean it, I will end you. Jim Carrey Grinch was chaotic neutral, but Mike Myers' Cat in the Hat was just straight up chaotic evil. Did you know this movie is the reason why the Seuss estate won't allow any more live-action adaptations of Dr. Seuss's books? That's fair? Aren't there only like 2 though? Isn't it just this and the Grinch? Like the Jim Carrey Grinch? Were there more I'm missing? And I'm not counting like direct-to-DVD ones. I mean, were there any big budget movies that came out? Either way. It's not like the Grinch was a big, outstanding achievement. This movie was a little different though. You know what? Screw you! Replaces all the boards in your ship with different boards until you aren't sure whether it's the same ship anymore. You know what? Screw you back! Builds exact replica of the ship with the discarded original boards. This could just go on and on and on. At 40, Franz Kafka, who never married and had no children, walked through the park in Berlin when he met a girl who was crying because she had lost her favorite doll. She and Kafka searched for the doll unsuccessfully. He told her to meet him there the next day, and they would come back to look for her. The next day, when they had not yet found the doll, he gave the girl a letter written by the doll saying, "Please don't cry. I took a trip to see the world. I'll write to you about my adventures." Thus began a story which continued until the end of Kafka's life. I'm hoping I'm saying the name correctly. During their meetings, Kafka read the letters of the doll carefully written with adventures and conversations that girl found adorable. Finally, he brought back the doll. He bought one that had returned. That had returned? What? Anyway, "It doesn't look like my doll at all," said the girl. Kafka handed her another letter in which the doll wrote, "My travels have changed me." The little girl hugged the new doll and brought her happy home. A year after Kafka died, many years later, the now adult girl found a letter inside of the doll. In the tiny letter signed by Kafka, it was written, "Everything you love will probably be lost, but in the end, love will return in another way." I don't know why that sentiment reminds me of that little Garfield plush that was going around for a little while, that was heavily used for like 30 or 40 years. To be loved is to be changed. Imagine being in a bar, overhearing an argument between 2 guys calling each other morons, and one of them says, "I speak 12 languages and you barely speak 1. Don't call me stupid," and lists 12 languages, and one of them happens to be your native language. So you chime in like, "Really? You speak Swahili? And the dude answers in a very polite wording with grammar, perfect grammar, I might add, and pretty good pronunciation. I don't actually speak Swahili, but please don't expose and embarrass me. And carries on arguing with the guy who has no idea what he just said. Seems like a crappy thing to do. People are naturally lazy and will never do any kind of work for free. This is actually from 2014. Here's what this year's version looks like. Woo! Hey there! Hi, what the hell? Oh man, I love these ongoing projects. How's that project to 1-to-1 scale Middle-earth in Minecraft? Is that done? Am I showing my age? How to use. If you really don't know, then we suggest you find someone you really like and invite them into the shower with you to demonstrate. I didn't know body wash could be so sexy and condescending. Every time I see this post, I think it's a fire extinguisher and I get really confused. You know what? I was just thinking the same thing, and now I feel called out for being an even bigger idiot than I normally am. Deeply haunted by a study that found human beings are less than 50% accurate in determining whether they are being flirted with. Look, I'm sorry I'm 0% accurate in dragging the average down. Had a girl look me in the eyes and tell me she wanted to go to bed while holding my hand, so I told her that she better go then before she fell asleep. I don't really think it's about not knowing. I think people like myself don't like to make the assumption. Hell, even if we're told, we don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. She's middle-aged. She's divorced. She hits people with giant hammers and has a weird relationship with God. She has a squad of silly guys she's tormented by horrors beyond her understanding. And most importantly, she's butch. I didn't say a name, but she popped into your head, didn't she? King DDD. Okay, wait, I'm obsessed with this, actually. That's not what I was thinking. I was kind of building a person as we went along. It can be therapeutic to admit, actually, my childhood was deeply awful. Not my parents tried, or there were good times too, or I was lucky in certain ways, but solely to acknowledge I went through some messed up crap. What the hell was that about? I know I went through some messed up crap, but I've also been able to analyze it over the years through therapy and really understand that while none of it was directly and exclusively my fault, okay, most of it, I'm not going to put all the blame on any one person either. Sometimes I think about the fact that DreamWorks was working on The Prince of Egypt and Shrek at the same time and would apparently send people to work on Shrek instead of The Prince of Egypt as a form of punishment. The night I posted this, I couldn't find a source, and I've been wondering ever since if maybe it was just some kind of screwed up fever dream or something. But no, it's real. As Shrek floundered, its status as the ugly stepchild at DreamWorks was reinforced. It was known as the Gulag, said one animator. If you failed on Prince of Egypt, you were sent to the dungeons to work on Shrek. The assignment was referred to as being Shreked. No, come on. How wrong were they, right, folks? Just walked my dog past a guy sitting in his car in the dark with the headlights on, playing Lose Yourself by Eminem so loud it was crystal clear through the shut windows, and just gripping onto the steering wheel, staring straight ahead motionlessly. Good luck, man. I've been there. The power flickered 3 times. If we lose power, I'm quitting. Just give me 20 freaking minutes for my chicken nuggets to cook, please. Please. I hope your power runs out. That's freaking nice and all, but the chicken is already in the nuggets. The power going out doesn't save the chicken. It's a nugget already. Sorry. I love this post because they said vegan, like it's a Fallout skill check. Failed. That's nice and all. Oh man, that does read perfectly. Thank you, Daniel. Genshin Impact's buffest male versus Guilty Gear's skinniest male. The guy on the left is a gang leader and the guy on the right is like a philosopher. I can't make this crap up. I mean, that's nice. Hi, brain, you obstinate flubber. I drank the clear splashy stuff. I ate the green things. I went under the bright blubber up there. I did the thing with the moving and sweating and whatnot. Now make the happy chemical, you lump of blubber. Did you do the thing with lying unconscious for 8 hours? I miss the days when, no matter how slow your internet was, if you paused any video and let it buffer long enough, you could watch it uninterrupted. Ah, those were the days. It was a good way to solve, well, just that one issue, really nothing else. Hey guys, this is my new best friend. I'm making a cake. I made my batter from scratch, and I made a strawberry yogurt frosting. Oh man. Cannot wait to see what this weird little guy looks like. The lamb is done. The lamb is cooling. The lamb did not come out of the pan very well. Features have been lost. Frosting may be needed to rescue the lamb. Behold, my son. Hey, OP, do you take criticism? I do not. And please don't speak to me or my son ever again. I don't know how my parents can live the way they do. How are you a 9 Inch Nails fan, but also homophobic? I'm trying to fit it all inside. I'm trying to open my mouth wide. I'm trying not to choke inside. I am a good boy and I will swallow it all, swallow it all, swallow it all, swallow it all. What did you think this song was about? My wife asked me to help decorate the cookies for her sister's baby shower, and then, just as quickly, asked me to please stop helping. Why are all of you reblogging this without the important context that Alan Denton is the writer of Sonic Boom? Well, that's kinda on his wife then, not gonna lie. I mean, come on, what's the problem with the cookie? When I was in high school, my AP English teacher told us we weren't allowed to eat in class, so I took that as a personal challenge to see what the most ridiculous thing I could eat in class without getting caught was. So I started bringing soup to class, and as soon as I'd cracked the lid of my thermos, the tiniest bit, this football player that sat like 3 rows in front of me would go, "I smell meat, someone has soup!" And no one ever believed him. Football player has a +2 to perception and a -2 to charisma. The only valid response. Another heavy-handed symbolism moment. My mom has a potted sunflower in the kitchen. Because it is a sunflower, it keeps turning towards the light from the window. My mother keeps rotating it so it faces inward because she wants to see its beautiful petals and have it really brighten up the space. The sunflower is visibly wilting. Damn. Ooh, I like that. Your mom needs to talk to somebody. I'm what they call a conflict escalator, a trained specialist in escalating even the most minor disagreements to the brink of all-out violence. The CIA could use your help. If Mario Kart was about pure driving, I would win every race. But unfortunately, my competitors insist on engaging in a great deal of unsportsmanlike behavior. This is what competitive Smash players sound like when you play with items on. I still do not understand what possessed so many well-respected actors to do the Spy Kids movies. Like, did they pay really well? Did you want these beautiful, terrible movies to be a blemish on your career forever? Why? Antonio Banderas did so many high-profile movies, then in Spy Kids he looked like this. Hey, watch your mouth, okay? I know that 2 and 3 are funky and dumb as hell, but 1 is genuinely entertaining as hell, and quite creepy, I might add, alright? It was good. Kiss my butt. America. Hell yeah. I mean, come on. Sometimes actors are allowed to just do some fun. Someday, I want to see a show that does the no filler episodes thing from the opposite direction. Just a whole season worth of low-stakes character pieces that seem to move the overall story absolutely nowhere. Then, episode 26 pulls all the triggers at once, and this massive Rube Goldberg machine of a plot the show's been quietly setting up in the background the whole time hits you like a truck. Chekhov's Firing Squad. Is that the name of the show? I was taught a very specific driving etiquette. When driving, the driver only drives. Shotgun seat does everything else. Changes music, adjusts heat, hands the driver the water bottle already opened, and when you pass a car that's been driving in front of you like a moron, it's shotgun's duty to turn to look and report what this idiot looks like. And also, just in case the driver makes eye contact, stare at them like this. There's some truth here. Shotgun does change music, do this and do that. However, shotgun don't pick music. If I'm driving and if I don't mind, you can pick. But driver vetoes. In the bathroom, and Every Time We Touch just came on, and the girl in the stall next to me was like, "Oh my god, this is my song," and started peeing harder. What should she do? What's she supposed to do in your eyes? My son has parked his bike by this lamppost just about every day for the last year. This morning, this sticker had appeared. Absolutely made our day. People can be so brilliant. Thank you to whoever did it. The year is 2040, and you're the last smoker alive. The quit smoking ads get personal. You walk into Times Square. A giant billboard lights up reading, "The hot barista you Facebook stalk doesn't like smokers." You walk back into the subway and go home. Our dwarven engineers came up with a new armor design protecting against the typical injuries sustained by warriors returning from battles in the netherworld. Ah yes, the old B-17 survivorship bias lesson. Okay, but this is a hilarious explanation. It really is. One time in driver's ed training, we stopped in the middle of nowhere off the highway at a combination KFC and Taco Bell. Guy at the counter was wearing a Taco Bell hat and asked, "KFC or Taco Bell?" Of course, before I said anything. So I said, KFC? So this dude dipped behind the counter and reappeared with a KFC hat on instead. Is this a problem? Like, huh? Man eating rice. China, 1901 through 1904. This is an extremely important picture. I've never seen someone from 1904 having fun. He has a nice face. No, but the history behind this picture is really interesting. The reason that everyone always looked miserable in old photos wasn't that they took too long to take. Once photography became widespread, it took only seconds to take a picture. It was because getting your photo taken was treated the same as getting your portrait painted. A very serious occasion, meant so that your descendants would know that you existed and what you looked like. But one time, some British dudes went to China to go on an anthropological expedition, and they met some rural Chinese farmers and decided to take their pictures. Now, these people weren't exposed to the weird culture of the time around getting your photo taken, so this guy just flashed a big grin during the photo because he was told to strike a pose, and that's the pose he wanted to strike. Well, if that's true, the guy is a true G, and I love that. I told my girlfriend that I was having an episode earlier, and she replied with, "Is it the beach episode?" And it shocked me so much that it grounded me immediately. Got asked by a nurse at a psych ward, "Are you, like, legit sad?" as I was sobbing on a chair. Made me stop crying because I was so perplexed. I want you all to know that this is like a legit strategy that's taught to people, okay? Say something so stupid and absurd that it distracts the person's brain so much that it drags them back and grounds them. Like, people are actually taught to do this. Some girls don't need makeup to look beautiful. They just need to smile. The hell is that? Oh, I know what that's from. This is kind of unnerving, actually. I remember that show. I think it's from a show where there are several kingdoms, each representing a food group. It's from Madagascar. I think this would look really good in a children's hospital. You know, because color theory? I'm so confused as to what's happening. Is it steak? Least favorite writing thing is villain's original fun personality evaporates entirely the moment they're redeemed. Simply dismissed as being a facade all along. Their so-called true self beneath the mask is actually quite dull. Oh man, you liked this bad guy for their hammy vocal performance, sparkling confidence, and boisterous charm? That's great, because we killed them off screen and replaced them with a sullen doppelganger who enjoys solely to mope at the camera and feel terrible about things. If I said who this post was written about, they'd nail me to the cross like Jesus of Nazareth. Well, now I gotta know! The thing about debating when an AI counts as a person is that you have to draw lines around what is and isn't a person, and it always ends up having some really uncomfortable implications about neurodivergent people. It's not a real person, it's just almost perfectly emulating one. It's repeating what it thinks it's supposed to say it feels right now, but doesn't mean it actually does. Girl, so am I. How can we prove if it's telling the truth or just mimicking human speech? How would it know the difference itself? I'm still trying to figure that one out. Oh man, God bless. I think I have more in common with this computer. We are AI. Conservative gamers are always like, why is every game woke nowadays? Why can't we have games like insert the single most leftist game of its time anymore? I want that twink obliterated! Kronk. By whom, though? I might be your classic hunk body type, but I'm not exactly a, top. I have a couple of exes I could call that might be his type. Do you want someone who could take him out for dinner, or, kill him? I want you to kill him. He would totally say that, though. That is very true. Next week at the Grammys, I want to see someone throw a chair at Justin Bieber. I've had a taste of award show violence, and I fear I now crave it. I have a friend who wears a mask, and if he were here, he'd narrow his eyes and lower his voice and say, I wear a mask each night so you won't ever have to. Petition to DC to add the little bat ears to the speech bubble every time someone imitates Batman. Please? That would be great.
No, phone, I did not miss a call. I watched it ring the whole time. I usually just ignore it. Why would you stare at it? That seems weird, right? Don't let people tell you your attraction to fire is abnormal or hazardous. Prometheus doesn't have his liver eaten every day for you to ignore the allure of arson. What? You just let me know that I don't know anything about any mythology out there at all. Prometheus has his liver eaten every day? Like to this day? Is it still happening? I don't think the Joker chemicals really did all that when he fell in. I think he just wanted an excuse to be like that, Joker. The Joker chemicals made me crazy. Arkham Doctor, that was a mild detergent. The last thing you'd want to find in your Burger King burger is someone else's Burger King burger. But those are sliders. So they're little baby burgers. Actually, if a restaurant ever offered this, I know it's not going to be anything special, probably going to suck because of how much extra bread you get, but I'd have to try it, right? I feel like I'd almost be honor-bound. Soundproof home learning dome. Can we talk about the bucket with the toilet paper next to it? No. Does that thing have air holes? Because if it's soundproof, it can't have air holes, right? So you're going to build an apparatus to pump, any amount of oxygen into that bubble? Or does the kid have to do their homework really fast or risk dying from suffocation? Me at 3 a.m. in the middle of yet another personal crisis. I need to learn 2 instruments, 1 craft, and 5 languages immediately. You see, this resonates with me, because I can't play any instruments, I can't speak any other languages, and I have no discernible talents, other than maybe talking. So, I have these crises a lot, because I don't feel like a person with anything going for them. When it was discovered that all alien civilizations were destroyed by eldritch gods, we wondered why they hadn't done the same to us. Then we learned that the human mind can drive an eldritch god insane. We saw Cthulhu and Mothman and started thinking about ways to screw them. What did you expect? I expected them to be flattered, especially Mothman. I mean, come on, dude, you're a moth. Most people don't really like you. Y'all can keep at it with that Romeo and Juliet fell in love in 5 days, how immature crap. But Macbeth went from no murder to yes murder in like 1 afternoon, and I feel like one of those is a significantly bigger problem than the other. In his defense, his wife triple dog dared him and called him a pussy. Again, all this is making me feel like I don't know anything about anything, alright? I don't know, we didn't cover Macbeth when I was in school. I'm pretty sure we just did Romeo and Juliet. For some reason. It's not that good. Also, like 10 to 15 years from now, I hope someone makes one of those inspirational sports movies, except it's a 50-year-old woman who wants to play competitive online games, and everyone tells her she can't because she's too old, her reflexes are too slow, etc. And then she gets this grizzled trainer, except they're a 19-year-old kid who had a promising career until carpal tunnel syndrome ruined their chances of becoming the world's champion. So, they train her, and she frickin' wins. The end. Movie of the year. The Grand Master. You're both hired. Can we actually allow Hollywood to steal this idea from you guys? Really, though? Especially that name? Can we get the guys that did the Dungeons & Dragons movie to do this? I think they would do it great justice. Today I learned humans are bioluminescent and glow in the dark, but the light that we emit is 1,000 times weaker than our human eyes are able to pick up. Forget every product from the beauty industry. I want to know how to increase my natural bioluminescence. Well, if that is true, we do have to get some of these companies on that, because I would love to be the kid from Sky High that can glow. It's very useful. I hate when female is the only grammatically correct term for woman in a sentence, because I literally feel like an incel. My female manager is shorter than my manager who is a woman. But at what cost? Well, now I know it could be worse. My girl boss. It does feel weird. It does feel very incel-y, my female manager. But what does it matter? I guess that's the idea here, right? What would it matter? In most context, that she is a woman, in fact. You could just say my boss, my manager. I mean, I guess if someone asks, right? My manager. Oh, is your manager a woman, a man? Oh, a female. No, that's not how it's gonna go. Could you imagine if people talked about Catholicism the same way they talked about, like, indigenous people's religions? Girl in horror movie holding a Bible open. According to legend, a mob tortured a half-man, half-god and nailed him to a wooden cross, leaving him to starve to death. But days later, on this very night, they found he had clawed his way out of the grave. Now those who believe lie in wait for him to rise again. To honor him, they have weekly gatherings where they chant and sing. And at the end of it, they eat his flesh and blood. Girl's friend. Wow, that's so creepy. Don't worry, it's only a myth. I love the fact that this is insinuating that Jesus is going to try to kill these kids. Oh, man. I mean, he might. We don't know what Jesus is thinking right now wherever he is. Whatever beach he's on whatever planet and whatever galaxy. He just chilling. He did his duty, you know? Leave the man alone. Okay, so this person and I are currently apartment hunting for the fall, and I just stumbled across the weirdest apartment ever. Like at first, wow, this looks nice. Ooh, how lovely. How can it be only $650 a month? Something's got to be wrong with it. And then you find the floor plan. What the hell? How much is this apartment? 2,400 square feet? Okay. Like, what the hell is this place? And you realize it's on the bottom of 3 apartment units. Clearly, this was meant to be one big place. This is your entrance. Okay, starting off strong there. Have fun living in the maintenance hallway under the rich folks. It comes with such stunning features as... no. Creepy-ass long murder hallways. A room with many doors, all closets. A bathroom that's clearly just meant for storage. And whatever this thing is in your kitchen. Honestly, I'd totally live in this amateur Counter-Strike mapper's first map. I don't give a crap that the bathroom is in another time zone. It's cheaper than anything around here. This is literally the first level of Hitman 2. Oh my god. What? What the hell? What does it all mean? Dude, this is incredible. How much is this though? Oh, you said $650 a month. For all that? Dude, you could split it with like 3 or 4 people, spend like $2 a month on rent, and have infinite room. Look, everybody gets 2 closets to themselves. Nobody in the world, nobody in history has ever gotten their freedom by appealing to the moral sense of the people who were oppressing them. I love that it's Pikachu saying this, because Pikachu attained freedom by electrocuting the hell out of Ash and outright refusing to get into that damn Pokeball. I need to start rewatching Pokemon, man. What if the toys in Toy Story went to a Catholic woman's house, and all of her figurines of crucified Jesus started screaming out in endless pain whenever she left the room? Okay, but you need to remember, it's Toy Story. Those figurines are not toys. To my knowledge, people don't buy figurines of crucified Jesus, which feels weird in and of itself. They don't buy them because they're gonna play with them like toys. So I think in this universe, we'll go ahead and just say, all about the toys. Okay, nice recommendations. A trash can and a park bench. Amazon thinks I'm a national park. How much are these, though? They might go really well in our backyard. The number 87 kinda looks like a plague doctor. You've just changed the freaking game. You gave him a little hat, too. Now I'm never gonna unsee that. Thanks a lot. It's De Niro's Pussy Poppin' Platforms Monday. What the hell did you just say? Mr. De Niro, it's an honor to have you here. Oh man, I have always enjoyed the behind-the-scenes photos of actors having to raise up their height by 900 feet with platform shoes. Because isn't Robert De Niro like 2 feet tall? He's a pretty short guy, right? Watch, I'll be wrong and he's like 7 foot, but he just wasn't enough. It's never enough. If they rebooted Austin Powers, it would either be the most tone-deaf, unfunny, incredibly offensive movie in years, or they'd do it right and really keep with the times in being very self-aware. And it would be one of the best films in decades. Austin Powers would be a massive supporter of trans rights because trans women means more women for him to shag. Oh, your pronouns are she, they? Well, baby, let me she, them titties, shagadelic. Austin Powers discovers bisexuality and it blows his freaking mind. You know, Austin Powers wasn't a bad dude, I imagine, right? Didn't he turn down a drunk woman because it was not right and it was irresponsible, his words? I don't know. I know those movies are stupid as hell. I keep forgetting the Austin Powers stories exist. I'll be keeping it real with you there, okay? There was a big drug problem at my school, so they hired a police officer to supervise students, but now he's playing Magic the Gathering with the video game club. Well, what the hell, man? Also, the video game club is playing Magic? Where are the video games? These wrestling referees may look cute, but they're actually very unhealthy. They're bred for their counting ability, but decades of irresponsible breeding have diminished their other senses, and they generally have a poor quality of life. The American Kennel Association is working on creating a new breed of referees with better vision and hearing, so you should consider adopting one of those for your wrestling promotions instead. Maybe. Marvel's dedication to portraying J. Jonah Jameson as a complex 3-dimensional character with likable traits and sympathetic qualities is really funny, because it's led to the creation of a character who unfailingly stands for truth and integrity in journalism. Except for this one specific dude, he's absolutely convinced is putting chemicals in the water to turn the frogs gay. To be fair though, he's totally right. That Spider-Man guy is a menace, okay? Lord only knows what he's doing while he's swinging around up there. An albino raccoon. Quick, spot the main character. It's so weird how much of a raccoon's raccoonness is tied up in its pattern. This looks like a completely different animal, some sort of weird marsupial. To be fair, if you look at him for more than 2 seconds, that does look like a raccoon. It's the exact same animal, but you're right. I know what you mean. It's absolutely true. When you think raccoon, you think the little mask they have on their face. I don't want to hurt you, Carmen. You're so full of shiitake mushrooms. Was this movie real? Yes, it was, and I adore it. It has one of my favorite lines ever muttered in cinema history. And I can't wait because I heard they're doing some sort of reboot again or something? Am I mistaken there? Also, the first movie is genuinely just good, so suck my balls. Remember in 1993 when Jurassic Park was like the end-all be-all of special effects? Not gonna lie, that still looks intimately real. I'm still somewhat convinced that someone sold their soul to create the special effects in Jurassic Park, because that crap's over 20 years old and it still really, really holds up. Better than the stuff in a lot of current movies even. Witchcraft, man. I mean, I love that over 20 years, I don't know when this post was made, but that over 20 years is pulling a lot of weight. The movie's 30 now. It's just 30, which is even more mind-boggling to me. Although, I don't know if anybody ever noticed this, at the end of the movie, with the T-Rex inside the building, that foyer, that big grand entryway, I guess you could call it, when it roars and the banner falls down in front of it, I'm pretty sure that in that initial shot, the dinosaur completely disappears for an entire frame. Just one frame. Really hard to notice when it's in motion, but if you go frame by frame, I'm pretty sure if it's not that shot, it's one right before it. The dinosaur just disappears, dude. Straight up, gone. Oh, man. Oh, God, what is this? Just so we're on the same page with the writer's strike. If during the strike it's announced about AI-generated shows, we're not watching them. Not even out of curiosity. Let them fail every AI-generated show they try to make. The human voice cannot be replaced by AI. Don't let them try. No hate watching! No freaking hate watching! Look, I agree, okay? I'm not liking this AI crap. Also, I don't know if you guys have ever seen medieval beekeeper garb, but it's the best. This is cursed, and I hope it's made up. Woodcut from 1545. Respect for our basket-faced cousins. The beekeepers, 1568. Now that plague doctors are cultural icons, I want these to be next, and I hope we arbitrarily decide that the two are somehow rivals. Why would they be rivals? They're dating and bop their masks together to kiss. The birds and the bees. They're dating. Okay, yeah, the only reason I'm okay with that is the birds and the bees joke. Straight up, that's goddamn hilarious. Got a really good idea for a D&D character I'll never get to use. You can't say that and not share your idea. It's a talking horse. You'd think this had come with some kind of magical backstory about getting turned into one, but it turns out they were just born that way. You find out their mother was a centaur, their father is a horse-headed minotaur, and they have a sister who's a perfectly normal human. They're a rogue/thief because nobody ever suspects a horse as the culprit. You're an orc guard in a fully garrisoned and protected fortress 2 miles into a mountain. You're standing post, and suddenly you hear a knock outside the door. You know you're not authorized to move from your post, but your curiosity overtakes you, and you open the door. A horse is standing there. As your brain races to think of some explanation for the sudden and unexpected presence of this horse, it leans in and whispers, "No one will ever believe you." How many points to intimidation is this worth? Probably a lot. All of them. It can be difficult to understand just how routine-oriented cats can be if you've never owned one. If my oven timer goes off and I'm slow responding to it, my cats will run and fetch me and lead me right to it, because the beepy thing means the human is supposed to go into the kitchen, and they're the only ones around who gives a damn about the rules. One night my partner decided to stay up and play video games whilst I got an early night, and the cat responded to this by running from the bedroom to the living room yelling because only one human had gone to bed, and so is it bedtime or not, humans? Make up your minds. This is not how to run a household. Well, cats are just weird. We all knew that, it's pretty normal. Only one truck driver per shower, please. Literally 1984, bro. Back when cons were only sort of death traps, my go-to cosplay was Miss Pauling from TF2, because it was quick and easy and I looked cute and she's a good character, and one time a guy dressed as Scout came up to me while I was chilling on the what con patio? Anyway, and was like, "Hey, Miss Pauling, how you doing?" in the Scout voice, and then he fell down the stairs in front of me. Oh man, he really committed to complete accuracy with the character. Got a bucket of chicken, wanna do it? We need to go back to using sailing ships full-time, like immediately. Yes, it would take longer to get places, but the aesthetic is unmatched. Like, there's nothing sexier than this. Can't wait for OP to get scurvy. Are you under the impression that the ships themselves are what caused scurvy? Weren't these ships used for colonizing India and the slave trade? Once again, do you think this is the fault of the ships themselves? Tumblr users will try to make any ship problematic. Oh man, yeah, it would take you a lot longer to get anywhere with these ships. They hold like 9 people in comparison to what we have now. Look, when it comes to ships, my only real opinion is ban the cruise ship industry. Get rid of cruise ships forever. Please, ban them, okay? That's like my only ship opinion, okay? Our boomer trait is going to be that we cannot recognize deepfakes or AI. I'm calling it. We're going to be like, wow, did you see this? And our grandkids are going to look at the 12-second hologram we show them, shrug, and be like, blinks are too regular. I'm going to be chewing out some kid for being rude to a customer service employee on a call, and they'll be like, they weren't breathing. Why are you always wearing that ugly Coca-Cola sweatshirt? You have so many nice clothes. Nestle sold our teacher's code to Coke-Ama-Colazom, and now we can shadow prompt their AI into giving us better grades. But your math teacher seemed so weird and incompetent. I was sure she was a human. I, for one, do not want to stop wearing a mask. I often wander around stores slack-jawed and dead-eyed in amazement like a caveman who'd just been released from a glacier, and it's a little less scary to the other patrons if they can't see my mouth. Under the mask, I'm like this. Yeah, it's been hard for years for me to breathe through my nose, so wearing a mask made life a lot easier for me. So now I just have to suffer or look like I'm stupid. Vladimir Serov, the worker and the builder. She's winding up to slap his ass. Buenos dias, Mandy. People who sleep without socks on make me worry. People who sleep with socks on are not to be trusted. People who sleep are weird. I was a sock once. Haha. The more I learn about the British government, the more it sounds like the setting for a generic dystopia. What the hell is a shadow cabinet? Are they not evil? There's something called a chief whip? A Lord Commissioner of the Great Seal? Does he keep the Dark One locked away? One time this man approached me in a bar talking in Spanish, so I assumed he was Spanish and we started speaking. We had a whole ass conversation, and at some point he was like, "So what part of Spain are you from?" And I said, "I'm Italian, actually." "What part of Spain are you from?" He was like, "I'm Greek." One time I was in Argentina and I was so tired of trying to speak Spanish because I'm not very good at it. So I broke into exasperated English, and the retail seller girl quickly understood me and engaged me in conversation. We talked for a while. She introduced me to a makeup brand, and then I decided to buy it. While she was packaging the purchase, she asked me if I was from the US or perhaps the UK, and I said, "Oh no, I'm Brazilian." And she looked me straight in the eyes and said in clear Portuguese, "I'm Brazilian too." Every 21st century piece of writing advice. Make us care about the character from page 1. Make us empathize with them. Make them interesting and different, but still relatable and likable. Every piece of classic literature. Aye, it's me, the bland everyman whose only purpose is to tell you this story. I have no actual personality. Here's the story of the time I encountered the worst people I have ever met in my life. But first, 10 pages of description about the place in which I met them. Modern writing advice. Yes, your protagonist should have flaws, but ultimately we should root for them and like them from the beginning. Charles Dickens. Here's the worst, ugliest, rudest, meanest, nastiest bitch you've ever met in your life. Did Charles Dickens write Barry? I'm sorry, I just finished that show, and yeah, Barry is an evil, disgusting man. It's wild that virtually all modern digital infrastructure is built to constantly spy on us and harvest our data for advertising. Yet online, advertising is still basically worthless and nobody seems to actually be benefiting from all of this. A vast Rube Goldberg machine of privacy violations, all working together to deliver the most precisely targeted ads straight into my ad blocker. Well, remember, the ad blocker may not work so well much longer. It's gonna be really hard to put an ad blocker in your brain. Standing up and blacking out for a few seconds is just transitioning from a cutscene to the gameplay. You motherfuckers need to eat salt is what that means. Look, if you stand up and you actually black out for a few seconds pretty much every time, go to the doctor, please. What city slickers don't understand is that weird noises always come from the forest and we just ignore it. If you go out to investigate and you get got, then that's on you. Ignore it and go back to sleep like a rational person. The weird noises are always in the forest. They don't come out of the forest and knock on your door. It's only polite not to go into their home without being invited. Yeah, absolutely leave them the hell alone and they'll do the same. Usually. Apparently Doki Doki Literature Club is one of those just frickin' play it and read nothing about it games, so I'll probably check that out. About an hour in and I'm super intrigued. It's obviously foreshadowing something, but the poems are really good. I think I share a lot of writing ideologies with this game. You know, I don't know anything about this game, but I think I know what this means. It's screwed up that only Islam has a cube. Every religion should have a cube. Every religion should have a different platonic solid. There should be a big Shintoism dodecahedron somewhere. You learned the word dodecahedron and really wanted to use it. I swear to God, you learned the word and then went, how can I make a joke? No one just uses dodecahedron. Not gonna lie. One of my favorite parts about writing urban fantasy is determining how and where the fantasy meshes with reality. Like, I'm not saying Freddie Mercury was a siren, but have you ever heard anyone not singing along to Bohemian Rhapsody? I rest my case. It is a 6-minute song with incomprehensible lyrics that seem to have something to do with murder and demons, with 5 sections that are completely different stylistically, but no chorus. It was number 1 in the UK single charts twice, 15 years apart, and is by many measures one of the most popular, or the most popular, single of all time. Yeah, there's no magic involved. And an absurdly broad swath of people know it. I have no memory of learning it, do you? It's so weird. That last comment. Like, you're right. I knew Bohemian Rhapsody before I even knew what the name of the song was. I just knew it. The knowledge was there. It was like the song with the Galileos. Yeah, that song transcends generations for sure. Or, you heard it in Wayne's World and, memorized the bits they showed there. So there could be that as well. I don't know. I'm just saying, dude. It's kind of like the Ultimate Showdown. Everybody knows the lyrics to the Ultimate Showdown, even if they've never seen the damn video before. Wheel of Fortune, puzzle, category, greeting, contestant, spins, wheel, $5,000, contestant, L, no L. This is a horror novel. To kill a French vampire, you need to drive a baguette through its heart. Sounds easy, but the process is painstaking. Multilingual jokes are my favorite. I have this stored away forever. Character has frost powers. Me, your backstory is family-related trauma, isn't it? Frost powers, family trauma. Fire powers, arrgh! Electric powers, rebellious. Earth powers, mean or dumb. Nature powers, social outcast. Water powers, nice but pretentious. Psychic powers, white girl. What is Frozone's family trauma? His wife put away his super suit. Where did she put it in an attic box or something? You know what? I don't care. If it was guaranteed that you would survive, would you rather explore a black hole or explore the entire ocean? Me in a black hole without being able to see crap because there's no light? Wow, this frickin' sucks. Me at the bottom of the ocean without being able to see because there's no light? Wow, this frickin' sucks. Yeah. You'd be able to see some of the ocean, I gather, like near the surface. Also, screw that, I'm not going into the ocean. Throw me in that black hole for days, dude. I still think one of the funniest experiences of my life was watching American Psycho with my sister. And afterwards, we both went, okay, let's do something more lighthearted now, and put on the dubbed version of Howl's Moving Castle. And we both lost our minds when we heard Howl start talking. I often forget that he played Howl. That man has what you call range. Whenever I win in a video game, I say to myself, like, woo! Get screwed, nerd, LMAO, you are trash. And then just type GG to them. FYI, whenever I lose in a video game, I'm like, screw off, you piece of shit, asshole. And then I type GG anyways. My favorite Bible story is when instead of telling women to dress modestly, Jesus tells his dudes to avoid lust by plucking their eyes out. My man Jesus. What story is that? Matthew, is it chapter 18, verse 9? Is that how those read? Because I never really understood it. And if your eye causes you to sin, gouge it out and throw it away. Jesus, how can I avoid sin when all these hussies keep revealing the fact that they have bodies? Tough call, bro. Have you tried gouging your eyes out so you don't have to see all those bodies anymore? What? Shouldn't you tell them to stop dressing like that or something? Don't see why. It's not their fault. The fact that they have bodies makes you so sinful, you horn dog. Gotta fix that problem yourself, buddy. Go on, blind yourself. Or learn to keep it in your goddamn pants, no matter what they're wearing. How about that? In case of implosion, look directly at implosion. Valve actually put that sign in the game because playtesters would destroy the generator and then turn around immediately and not see the implosion animation they'd worked so hard on. A breeder in the Netherlands has been working to make the French bulldog a healthier breed. My god, they actually look like dogs now. Breeder. You know what? Screw this. Unselectives you're breeding. I can't believe selective breeding did that to the poor bastards. What were they selecting? The worst things possible? One of my favorite human quirks is when the power goes out and you're with other people, and inevitably someone says, "Did the power go out?" Like, you're all sitting there in the dead dark, TV black, Wi-Fi gone, lights out. But they're still like, well, I have a theory, but it needs to be submitted for peer review. Me sitting in my dark room after everything short-circuited. I can't be certain, but I don't think this is how it was a moment ago. Well, you gotta remember, the power go out just to your house or to the whole neighborhood? That's what I tend to ask, like, oh, I wonder if it's out everywhere. We should start doing ancient aliens conspiracies, but for buildings that aren't even that old or impressive. No humans could make an apartment this complex. Oh yeah, apartment complex. Very simple to me, mate. Adults trying to stay hip and keep up with youth culture and being years late is so cringy. Adult secret. It's all intentional. Nothing will prepare you for how fun it is to watch a teenager's face as you dab at them. I'll floss when they least expect it, and I'll love every second of their horror. Fond memories of how one of my shipmates would very earnestly ask the youngest deckhand, "Was that yeet? Was that yeet?" every time he tossed dock lines. I'll just do whatever I want, dude. I don't care if the teenagers think I'm gay or stupid or cringy or lame or whatever the hell they say nowadays. No, but this is one of my absolute favorite bits of history, okay? The courtesan was named Fryn, anyway, and she was indeed a renowned beauty, and was put on trial for a capital crime. And yes, the sum of her defense consisted of her stripping in court, helped by her lover/defendant, and asking the jury, all males, if they were prepared to destroy this. But this is actually a very interesting case of values dissonance. The capital crime she was accused of was blasphemy. In ancient Greek society, exceptional beauty was a sign of favor from the gods, and they took the idea that beauty indicated goodness with great seriousness. They even called the nobles something, the beautiful and the good. So by showing off her great physical beauty, Fryn, I assume, was being very clever indeed. Her argument essentially being, how could I possibly commit blasphemy if the gods have given me this body? God, I adore history. If these tits are legit, you must acquit! Y'all imagine if the past lives were something commonly acknowledged and something you could actually remember? But the thing is, high infant mortality through the course of most of human history would mean that most of those lives would have been so brief that your mother in this particular life wouldn't even have given you a name before you die of diarrhea. So, memories of your past lives would be like toddler death, toddler death, toddler death. Hey, cool, I was a blacksmith. Toddler death, toddler death, toddler death. I was a carpenter. Toddler death, toddler death, toddler death. The infamous town whore who once s***ed off a bishop. Toddler death, polio, lead poisoning, present day. Microplastics can be present day. People don't fear death because they don't know what's happening. They just hate having to go back to the stupid loop of crap yourself and die speedrun until they manage to survive adulthood again. My favorite band is the Beatles. I frickin' hate the Beatles. Junji Ito and Hayao Miyazaki. The world if your favorite band is the Beatles. The world if you frickin' hate the Beatles. But Tolkien hated the Beatles too, and that confirms the theory. I love the Beatles. I hate the Beatles. Man, it makes it even weirder that the Beatles wanted to do their own Lord of the Rings movie, right? Anyway, completely unrelated, but I'm still really pissed off that Silent Hills was canceled because I'm pretty sure Junji Ito was going to be working on it, man. This is beautiful. It truly symbolizes the simplicity between life, death, good, and evil, right and wrong. But in the end, it's still our own paths that we take, and our own hearts that we hold in our hands. Truly a masterpiece. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh card. It is so strange to me that when people tell me they never had an ancient Egyptian phase, like, what did you even do during your childhood? This is oddly specific? And over 3,000 people relate? That's how those sound in my head, by the way. You use fucking question marks all the time. That Egyptology book was too golden and shiny to resist. Children, collectively. Crowbrain says shiny and full of secrets. Gotta know. Oh man, what were my phases? I don't know if I had an Egyptology one. I know I had the book, I just don't know if it was... It maybe lasted a couple days for me. But I had the Dragonology book. I got really into the Titanic for some reason when I was really young. In the 5th grade, I went through a WWE phase. There were a good few, The assassin you sent me is part of my found family now. I do enjoy that. Also, I gotta say, after watching the latest Puss in Boots movie, how was he ever successful as a supposed assassin? Because in Shrek 2, he's like the guy. He's the guy. And in Puss in Boots 2, you get to see how he's actually an incredible fighter, the dude's insane. How did he go from being awesome to getting his ass handed to him because he decided to try and attack Shrek right when he had a hairball? Also, he put his sword down and scratched him! What kind of idiot? Oh god, wait, is this about I saw Pizza Hut. Let me zoom in here. Downside. Going to have to include a picture of the Giza pyramids in the slides for the lecture. Upside. I get to give people a crash course in why perspective matters in 2 frames, because It's such a funny sequence. They are quite far away from each other. I find most people who haven't seen it in person don't know that Cairo is right there. It really is just right there, dude. It's pretty crazy. I loved these perspectives, so I took some of my own when I was in Cairo, and yeah, they're literally just right there. Pass them on your way to work, no big D. No, y'all don't even understand. There's literally a Pizza Hut across the street from the pyramids. That Pizza Hut, among other things, is why Egyptologists laugh their asses off when we see another piece of media where the protagonists get lost in the desert near the pyramids. Because it's like, just turn around, my dudes. You're only a 7-minute walk away from the nearest fast food shop. Imagine eating a pizza while looking at the Great Pyramids and the Sphinx. Look at that shit. It reminds me of in The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, when he's in the middle of nowhere Greenland in a tiny town with maybe 30 inhabitants or something like that. And he's at what, a Papa John's? This is to the guy in the electronics department at Walmart who, when I approached and said game, because it was the only word that would come to me, went, yeah, and walked me straight to Tears of the Kingdom, no questions asked. Again, that's like a scene in Barry. He just walks into the store and just says, guns. And wouldn't you know it, they sold him some guns.